Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
And so the Bears are sending their compensatory fourth-round pick to Jacksonville for Nick Foles.
No competition.
Keeping it 100.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Open competition.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Chicago Bears select Cole Kmet.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shayne's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shayne got some haters. But now they're mouthed up like the true and now and laters. Debaters, claws get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shayne. 100's what we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies, the truth you see, relax, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Hard crash, big impact like Max Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we're keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
The following show is for mature audiences only. Tri-City Sports.
Watch the tape, and when you see the tape, you know the tape doesn't lie, and the tape doesn't lie.
You know, when we talk about culture, and I do think there's a lot of teams in this league, guys, that would not come out of it, the 6-game stretch we went through.
Are you nuts?
And I do think that speaks to, we say culture, but I think it speaks to the coaches.
Are you kidding me?
I think it speaks to the young talent on their team. There's a lot of young players that stepped up down that stretch to get us into the playoffs.
Been good enough, and the offense just doesn't get it done. The fourth down that Mitchell Trubisky does not sell out for. I have no idea how he doesn't try and dive to go get that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The offensive line lacking in protection, not having a great plan versus the pass rush for New Orleans.
No shit, Sherlock.
In the 3 years of him as their head coach, he's coached 50 games. They've scored 1 touchdown or less 18 times.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And what specifically was the misevaluation that led you to choose Trubisky over Mahomes and Watson? And what specifically have you learned from that mistake that will help you get it right this time?
Yeah, you know, I think, again, I get the question, Mark. And, you know, we're focused now. I think what you just said is like, what did you learn as we go forward and making sure in any acquisition we make that we're doing it the right way. You know, I think, and I don't think, I would say this, the chapter, we still got a lot of decisions to make. I mean, the season just ended 3 days ago, so we have a lot of things we got to work through with a lot of decisions on our roster, including quarterbacks. So some of those things still got to unfold. But the key word to me is taking this on together with our scouts and not just with Matt, with the coaches that he has around him. I really feel strong, especially with the quarterback position.
No.
When you talk about Matt and Regression and Flip and Laser, and us just taking on a lot of these tasks together, that's what gives me confidence.
Chicago, you got into the playoffs and made it a conversation, but you answered it yesterday. It's time to move on.
Oh, yeah! Maron.
Ryan and Matt are men of character.
Condescending.
I don't like him. I don't like the way he doesn't take every damn bullet for him. That's your job as a head coach.
Big plays are nice.
You don't make your quarterback take every bullet. You take the dang bullet.
They are both, like Ted, outstanding leaders.
Are you kidding me?
Undisciplined, lacking fundamental football is a reflection of the head coach. They whisper it into your ear.
I've been most impressed with how well they collaborate.
Are you kidding me?
Ryan and Matt were instrumental in holding the team together.
No.
Dumb. And then
You are so disrespectful. You are so disrespectful. Your face. You are what is wrong with the freaking world today.
I personally feel like we had an opportunity, to be able to get something done, over the past over 365 days now. So
involved as well, and that was real. Yeah, and I think they're going to get Wims. I mean, I think when the flag came out, they caught Wims. He's bouncing around as though he's going to.
I was impressed with both of them this past season, especially during the 6-game losing streak.
Are you kidding me?
Finished the season 3-4. No, you finished the season 0-2.
Yeah, you did.
The two most important games, you got fucking bum rushed.
The fact that our players never gave up is a tribute to the players.
What?
But I'm with Dan. Look, I've never been a big fan of this Nagy guy. And quite honestly, it's because of the way he handled the Trubisky thing.
oh, yeah! Maron.
And that's on me. I get it. It's on me to supply better players to our coaching staff to win games.
Well, no fucking shit.
Oh, yeah!
And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Maron.
This guy, I don't like him. I don't like the way he doesn't take every damn bullet for him. That's your job as a head coach. You take the dang bullets, and that's what I don't respect about this guy.
Offensive line is something we're always going to look at, and there's a variety of ways that we can continue to improve it. And it's on us. Every team's going to have these same cap restraints as we head into it. And it's on us to make the right decisions, get creative when we have to, make hard decisions when we have to.
You're a liar. You're a liar. You know something that you're not telling us, you slimy scumbag liar.
And make sure we shore up that position in every way we can.
Are you nuts?
You do have left on your contract.
It's not about our contracts. It's about what's best for the team.
You're a liar.
Maron.
Ryan and Matt are men of character.
Oh, wow.
You lost because your coach sucks.
As far as the play calling for this year and how things went, again, I've told you about the collaboration and.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
And I can, I'll just everything has been the same as it was the last 6 to 7 weeks.
You're a liar.
Nothing's changed.
Are you nuts?
There, so it's been a great collaboration.
Collaborate and listen.
Nothing changed the last couple of weeks or anything like that.
That's some old bullshit.
I just appreciate the coaches and what they've done, and
That's some old bullshit.
and Bill and what he's done, and the other guys as well. So
You're a liar.
That's something that what we'll do here in this offseason is talk about all that in the process, and y'all know too, we're in this process right now.
Push from all levels of a football team that this is who we are, this is our personality, this is our attitude, and if all you're worried about is scheming pass routes, well then that's going to come out at what kind of football team you are, and this is who we are. And I know this is where we are nowadays, but there's all this club dub, and if you're winning, do it right. Do all that club dub, do all that stuff, but But there's got to be a little bit of toughness, a little bit of effort on your football team, especially if you lack talent.
Bears decided to keep this shoe salesman coach.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what they're worried about. It's going to only happen next year anyway.
Exactly.
You know, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
A winner. And we have exactly the right football culture, that all teams strive for.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Oh, yes, Shane.
Cut it out, Phil.
Cut it out. We had to cut Claudio out. And we had to do
Look at our names, man. Look at our names.
Oh, let's turn it around. Let's do that. Good job, Claudio. You're doing your job in the background because
I just gained 8 inches, just like that.
Hey, Madon. It's a new offseason, a new era in Chicago Bears, and that was a big fuck you to all the trolls that can't stand opens, but we love them. We wanted to capture exactly.
Oh, we'll hear about it in the morning. I love you guys, but
yeah, exactly. You know what that is? That's history right there. And if you got a fast forward fucking button, use it if you don't like it. But for me, that's what I do. I produce that shit exactly to napalm this motherfucking franchise to show you how completely negligent, how completely disrespectful, condescending, and completely what a fucking fraud show it is. Not on this network, though. We got trolls in different area codes, Claudio. Claudio can't be on the show tonight. Something happened with his camera, but he's behind the scenes looking at your responses in the chat.
We smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every
day. That's probably what he's doing to stay off the camera. You know, we're happy he's back. But listen, Shane, that's the first time I believe you saw that. You know, I worked on that over the weekend. Obviously,
I did get to see it earlier when I was.
Oh, you did? You cheated
behind the scenes. Oh, yeah, I do that most weeks. I just don't tell you about it when I'm uploading things before the show. I sit there
like,
when I'm
let's see what this motherfucker's doing.
While I'm uploading, I'm watching things, Phil. But we do have a little bit of this.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
There it is. I think this is something that's been expected, Phil. Brandon Staley gets hired as the head coach for the LA Chargers. Brad Biggs reporting that Jay Rodgers is expected to be Chargers bound, getting his shot. You know, with the guy that he's familiar with. I don't know. I know there's been a lot of outcry for Jay Rodgers, and I can't sit here with a clear conscience and say that he is going to be the guy that he's right for the defensive coordinator position. You know, you even heard Sam Acho out there who, was around this guy. He didn't say Jay Rodgers. He mentioned Sean Desai as a guy that he would love to get it. And you heard the reports from Hogan Johns that, they've promoted him, but they're saying that they weren't quite sure that he had the proper demeanor, and sometimes you have to be a little bit outspoken. And listen, that's not a negative against Jay Rodgers. Sometimes you can just be an elite position coach, and that's fine. But looks like he's going to get his shot out in LA, and we'll have a new DC here in Chicago. But that leads to this too. Also a report that it's possible more coaches will depart as well. Passing game coordinator Dave Ragone has been linked to Arthur Smith's staff with the Atlanta Falcons. Ragone could also land in Atlanta. There's also been speculation that Charles London, the Bears running back coach, could end up in Atlanta also. So, they're saying maybe 4 to 5.
Out with the fire.
Yeah.
They see this. They see what my father said there at the end. It's like all of us really know. It's like we don't need some fucking the Bears blog to tell you.
Right.
He's just reading the tea leaves. How much confidence do you have with Coach Nagy and anybody feeling like I want to go work with him?
Yeah,
that's the situation.
Phil, the one thing that I do, and I know there's
exactly that's my title I gave him. I know he's a shoe salesman.
Is
he does barely seem he's right.
That's true.
He doesn't need he doesn't need a running back coach. You're right.
I'm very intrigued. I'm intrigued by Betcher. He was a guy that I was interested before they brought Pagano in because he's got an aggressive mentality. He's a guy that loves to blitz. He's a guy that loves to stay aggressive no matter what. And that's what this defense is built for. That's what this defense thrives off. And, the bullshit quote from Pagano, if we're going to be getting our guys going this way, that is something that I think Betcher will stay true to. And with him being an outside advisor to this staff all year behind the scenes, to me is a clear sign.
I'm laughing at the comment. I'm laughing at the comment. It's just a showcase of a pussy.
Yeah.
Fucking not. Yeah. He got blocked by the Bears blog for saying we should fire Nagy. You hurt his feelings. Christ, Shayne doesn't even block anybody. Do you, Shayne?
I don't. No, I haven't blocked. I haven't blocked anybody.
No, I like
porn bots. Maybe I think I blocked a few porn bots.
A Russian porn bot.
Yeah.
Let me say this about the defensive coordinator as well as the philosophy. A lot of people have asked me in DMs about 3-4-4-3. We've said this many times.
Matter.
Yeah, that doesn't matter because you're a nickel so much that your philosophy of your front is still a 4-man front. Sometimes it's 5 up there with the Bears. Yeah. Again, to me, the point that Shayne's making, going this way and being aggressive, allows that guy who had probably the worst year ever. We're going to do bear up, bear down tonight for the season, Shayne. And, a lot of people are going to have this guy, whoever gets him, will draw straws here. Your boy, number 39 back there. And listen.
Where did he play? He played at Alabama, right?
Played at Alabama.
Wait, am I gonna hold him accountable or am I just gonna kiss his ass?
No. One thing I could say about this network, and I'll say this to get this out of the way. This is a show, Keeping It 100, that we do. Let me put the fucking right banner up there for our sponsor here. I don't want to get anybody upset. There you go. Shy City Sports. Go over to their message boards and fucking fight them. I heard they're crazy over there. Well, my thought is this. Let me just defend Shayne here for a second. Shayne, nor Phil, nor Cars have no allegiance to any school. In fact, I fight this with people that I even love and respect. It's like you don't put all Penn State running backs that they're going to fail. You have to individually assess them. Oh, I can't. Just like with Alabama, they're so good. Mac Jones is only good because of the play. No, you look at the fundamentals and you look at the techniques and the toughness. There's so much that you have to analyze. Those of you just learning the game, you can't just follow the Bears blog and PFF Brad and these people with their numbers. That is like a quarter or a tenth of the story with stats. You have to look at everything and weigh. And the woman tonight coming on the show, she's going to tell you this because, she's the president and CEO of a draft network, for God's sake. So here we are with an umbrella, a microscope. I had someone say, now you guys got to take all 32 teams and cover them at the network.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell no, we're not doing it. We're just staying here.
Well, let me put that back up there, Claude, if you leave it.
Which one? This?
Yeah,
Nope.
talking about
He
Bedford,
means Belter.
24 and 26 ranked defense. That was in New York when they had a depleted staff. His defenses weren't ranked that when he was in Arizona, and obviously the Bears have players on defense. You don't draft and cultivate thoroughbreds and have them do what they're not good at. You have to let these guys run. You have to let these guys play and be aggressive. That's what they want. You're gonna get beat up top sometimes because of the aggressive mentality, but you're also gonna make a lot more plays. You're gonna sack the quarterback more. You have one of the best blitzing linebackers in all of football in 58, and you take advantage of that. I mean, he's so explosive and aggressive, and he's got that athleticism to pretty much do whatever you want, and you're restricting him for whatever reason. It makes no sense to me.
Well, a couple things off of this to finish my thoughts here. There's no bias. Shane likes Alabama. I don't have a favorite.
I'm more
football team, but
Phil, I'm harder against Alabama players than anybody. I very rarely am out promoting saying no. Yeah, that's the point.
Here's the point. Even that you shouldn't be. You have to assess it, but you're trying to cover your ass, not in a bad
it's not
way.
even that. It's just that
I know
that Saban beats the shit out. I mean, these guys, there's no days off. It's like Alabama running backs and stuff like that, and even their DBs and their defensive linemen. There's a lot of good players, but the sustained success isn't there, and that all goes into it. But we're going to get into the draft and why
so much to get into. Here, Ryan Faley, he's telling you this is why, as a coach, you have to understand. Like someone pointed out, Mike Singletary, he's interviewing. We'll talk about that tonight, obviously, but I want to say this. Someone putting up his high school record and trying to use that against him is completely unfair to Mike Singletary because he doesn't pick the talent that comes into the school. So he's coaching whatever. It could be the Sisters of the Poor that he's got. It doesn't properly assess, just like math, stats, and all of these other things that these fucking Twitter trolls and blog boys, as I call them, try to, control a narrative with it. They're good for a little bit of the story. If they match the equation of the tape, that's why this network is what it is. That's why you tune in here, because I'm only going to go on that first and foremost. If I check the stats and say, okay, he broke this amount of tackles based on the amount of numbers someone tracked, then that's fine. That just checks a box for me. But the reality is the tape never lies. That's where the assessment is so important and imperative. So when we look back at, listen, I'm never one afraid to fucking speak up, and I'm a cocky son of a bitch. I got a reason to be that way because I put the work in. I don't just fucking look at somebody else's assessment and then make it mine. I make my assessments and I stand by them. I put my name to it. Same thing. He holds me accountable. Every fucking troll fan, like Jamal said, if you don't have trolls, if you don't have haters, you're not doing it. I get that. But all going to hold you accountable. So you got to do the work. You can't just go on numbers. For me, we're going to get into a whole offseason, become a patron, do the whole thing of draft coverage and why I like Mac Jones. I shared that story on the QB Quandary show because we never have all been in unison. Me, Cars, and Shane, who I've known for 20-something years on a prospect. So that's checking a statistical box for all of us. Ones will be discussed, analyzed, and broken. Don't worry. going, Alabama quarterbacks have not been successful. Therefore, I can't. That's how you miss on Deshaun Watson. That's how Ryan Pace misses on it, because he's doing fucking stats instead of watching the fucking toughness. You're worried about his fucking injuries? How many times this motherfucker got up like Balboa? Look at that shit. That's why you miss, because you don't know football. You don't see football. They saw potential. You don't win with potential. Anyway, Shane, go ahead.
No, man, I agree, and that's Phil. Even talking, to bring up the Mac Jones thing, it is a difficult eval, but it's more than just watching a game and saying, oh, he's got player A, player B, player C around him, so that makes him good. You have to watch some of the throws. You can say that, oh, when he throws the ball, guys are wide open by 10 yards. Yeah, that happens. There's also some fucking dime balls where I still can't figure out how he got the ball where he placed it. And that's an innate ability that we haven't seen in Chicago. Yeah, it's very sporadic.
Right.
Mac Jones has done it pretty well consistently. But then again, the big drawback, he's a little more than a one-year guy, but the experience level is not there. When he has played, it's been, big time numbers. But we're going to have all of that.
Yeah, we're totally, I'm not empty promising and pushing it off. It's like there's so much to get into with what you saw in the open. We're just turning the page into 2021, and you're hearing Matt Nagy's firing and moving on from people, or people are moving on from him. You're hearing the defensive coordinator, former Vikings DC, now he was with the Cowboys. He's interviewing. George Edwards is interviewing. You had the coach from the Dolphins, the defensive back coach. Like you said, Acho giving a thumbs up to Desai, and you got obviously Mike Singletary.
Yeah, and then there's a guy from the Colts.
Guy from the Colts.
I'm blank on his name right now.
Yeah, he's a defensive back coach as well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, you have Betcher in an outside advisory role for a reason, Phil. I think the Bears were very interested in him before. If I was a betting guy, that would be who I think that they're gonna go with. Don't forget, Sam Acho said he didn't expect that the Bears would go in the direction of Sean Desai. He said, I don't think that they're going to go in-house. And to me, that speaks more towards Betcher also.
We're going to get into Ryan Pace. Let's just finish this topic here. Actually, we won't talk. Let's save Singletary for later. I will say this about Betcher. You don't know. The chess pieces are the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And my point originally, we got a little bit off task on Alabama, is the fact that the best thing you could do for Eddie Jackson is have an aggressive front blitzing, because that's where he can take chances and use his best attribute. It's not tackling. We know that. It's rangy, athletic plays, and to make plays like that. So that's what you're trying to find. Now, we got no answers on the contract of where they are. We know Matt Nagy has 2 years left, and George said there was no, extension for Ryan Pace. So exactly where that means and lands them, I don't have a clue. I don't know what that is. It behind the scenes, you got to be better next year, you're done. That's the narrative we all have to draw from this. There's just no way that it could be any other way. So the defensive coordinator is going to have to be something different than Pagano was. And they're going to have to be a hell of a lot more aggressive. That's for sure. Pace, in regards to middle round picks, that's a showcase of usually where your scouts are slamming the table for the guys that they scouted. So, or your coach. So where you get into those situations where you've seen these middle round successes from Ryan Pace, a lot of times those guys are the scouting department, the area scouts, the regional scouts that are doing this work, that are selecting and slamming the table for the GM to select those guys. So even that, is that a credit to Pace, or is it a credit to the staff underneath him, like a Jeff Shiver and a Mark Sadowski and so on and so forth? So this GM has shown me empty promises, Shane. Empty promises.
Big off season, that's for sure, man. It's going to change the tides of where they go. And I mean, not to get in, I don't want to go down the Singletary hole too much here, but I have no problem with the Bears talking to him. I do have a issue if it's to make him the defensive coordinator. I think it's with this franchise, I think it's a lot of just pacifying the meatballs. We're going to have a lot of people, I'm sure, here in the chat, and a lot of people that, are on Twitter and Facebook and don't follow it like we do, that will say, oh, he's going to restore the roar to the defense and all the bring back Bears and all that ridiculous 85, pipe dream stuff, and, make Ditka president and all of that bullshit. But, if they want to make him an advisor, maybe as a position coach, Phil, I mean, if you're losing guys, if you're, linebacker coach, who knows? I'm more interested in that. Turning the entire defense over to Mike Singletary, to me, makes no sense at all. And it's just it's pandering to the meatheads.
Here's the thing, like I told you and Cox and Sandlin in the group text, my thing about Mike Singletary I can't overlook is, he got rushed into a job. Does that sound familiar? Here with Nagy. And listen, his defensive acumen is legendary. So how he would do in that position with this defense is, to me, worthy of the interview and the conversation. How they go about it, what you're saying, I completely get based on what we saw that presser. Are they trying to drum up this interest to a fan base to give them some sort of fucking...
Yeah, that's Phil. That's who they are.
Exactly. Based on that whole collaboration and
exactly. This buys them a little bit of time with the meathead Bears fans that love and adore that stuff. That this deflects taking attention away from this dumpster fire that was the presser. But you mentioned it, Phil. Singletary started as the Baltimore Ravens linebacker coach in 03-04, but then he was assistant head coach and linebackers coach 2005 through 2008. So he was in a pretty prominent role there in San Fran before he became the interim coach in 08 and then head coach from 2009, 2010. So I don't know if I'm going to buy into he was rushed into it role.
I think as a head coach, he was definitely, I believe, because he wasn't a coordinator. He never had an opportunity to be a defensive coordinator and then take the role. Here's Matt Nagy. He's an offensive coordinator for fucking 13 days, just with a glorified title and a fucking guy that's telling everybody that he's prepared to be a head coach. We've seen different. He called plays in a playoff game and, oh, by the way, forgot the leading rusher in the NFL, Kareem Hunt, at that time. That should have been a red flag in the air, especially in Chicago. But listen, that's what I was saying back then. And even when they won, everybody knows that I was questioning the coach. I'm not questioning who's coming up. I see our guest is in the green room.
Yep, she is there ready to go.
She is ready to rock and roll. But we always, Shane, introduce our guests in a special way. This one, no different.
Bears fans, you may remember this lady sitting down with Phil and Shane over at that other network back in the day. But since then, so much has changed, including her title. There's no collaboration needed here. She is now the Chief Executive Officer for the Draft Network and host of the TDN Fantasy Podcast. With all that said, this Husker grad's most important title is, and always shall be, the queen of all Chicago media. TTNL fans, get out your seats and bow down to the queen, Paige Dimakos.
There she is.
God, how am I supposed to ever go into any other show ever again? Right? Like,
Right.
That's how we hear.
We'll text you that intro, and you can demand that they play it for every appearance.
Like Shane and Phil said, blame it on us.
yeah, when I'm on with Joy Taylor on Fox, I'm just gonna give it to her and be like, listen, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
you guys do different things differently at Fox, but I really need this like epic intro so we could just play it. Like,
Well, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Now you're back on the network, our new network, our new show, Keeping It 100, every Wednesday night. If you don't know who Paige is, the intro basically told you everything, but you're about to find out a Bears fan and a football acumen that maybe, just maybe, that CEO title you have, president, CEO, we could push it over to Chicago. Have the first woman president CEO, get Ted Phillips the fuck
Are you
out
good
of
at
there.
collaboration, Paige? Can we-
yeah. Oh, there is trust me, I've thought about that for a long time. The guys and girls that work for me over at the Draft Network, they have long had some good jokes running that, oh my gosh, we can't believe that that the Bears are run so poorly. Why don't you see if the McCaskies will hire you? And I said, well, the McCaskies don't make very good hires, so they probably wouldn't hire me. So
Exactly.
It's so hard, man. I mean, just watch. I was holding just a sliver of hope that, and then George essentially leads it off, talking about Andre Tucker, totally get it. And then he shifts to Ted Phillips. I'm like, it's just, kicking the nuts right from jump. And here we are, but we're 101 years of getting kicked in the nuts, right? As Bears fans.
It's the reality is, unfortunately, I'm not going to be deliverer of a lot of positive news for a lot of Bears fans. I think that, what's unfortunate for us is you can't change ownership, right? And ownership has continued to make bad decisions, and I don't see that changing, guys. Yep. And I think even when you have, really, really, really good coaches or really good players, there's certain things that have always hindered this organization, and certain, when you're a long-standing, team like ours, and you have never had a good quarterback, like never, right? Like, I mean, that's in and of itself, like as respectful as I can be to everybody that's ever played quarterback for us, like there's not a guy that anybody was ever intimidated by playing that's played for the Chicago Bears. And that's like, it's almost like impressive that they've never even like stumbled their way into having a good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But it's
our great grandfathers were lucky to see Sid Luckman play, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like Sid Luckman's like the only guy that we can actually like talk about and be like, well, at least we had Sid. And I'm like, really? Like, really? That's what we're going to go with? Like, we
42.
It's Green Bay. Green Bay goes, we went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, right? Like that's the threshold that we're constantly being held to. So that's the other issue is you gotta deal with that constantly.
Listen, Paige, speaking of this, let's go back, revisit history here. How much different would this franchise be had they skipped over Mark Trestman and hired your boy Bruce Arians? How would this franchise look now?
It's honestly, it's tough for me to imagine because it aggravates me to such a high level, because I truly find it baffling that anybody who's competent could interview both of those people and walk away thinking that Bruce Arians was not the smarter guy for the job, right? I mean, the acumen, the quarterbacks, the Super Bowls, the offenses, everything that he did was pointing in the direction of this is the type of guy you want. The worst part is now, because I'm so close to the Arians family, Bruce told me he left that interview feeling like there is no chance that he wasn't getting the job. That is how he left the interview. So that also tells me, one, he knocked it out of the park. And two, they were they bullshitting, right? Were they just like playing a game with him, making him think like this is going well? And then he leaves thinking, oh, I got this in the bag. And then doesn't, they decide to go with Mark Trestman. I mean, I don't know how anybody could possibly have interviewed both of those guys and walked away going, yeah, I think, you know what, Mark Trestman's the guy, especially in a city like Chicago, guys. You guys know this city. Like Bruce is Chicago. Like he fits Chicago. He's no bullshit. He's totally honest. He's old school. He grew up poor. He grew up in a tough neighborhood. He's always reached across the lines and been the guy who goes out and hires minorities and women. And like, it just fits our epically wonderful city. So it's so frustrating because that to me is such a crucial, you look at that and you go, man, they really effed that up, right? Because he would have done wonders with Jay Cutler. Wonders with Jay. And he would have gotten the best version of him. And, unfortunately we didn't get to see that.
Well, I guess if we change course here, let's talk about something easy, Paige. Who's the starting quarterback in 2021 for our Bears? That's an easy question, right?
Yeah, easy for sure. So who I want to be and who I think are going to be are kind of two different things. Honestly, I think the best course of action for them as of right now, when you look at cap and everything and what they could do and what they're not moving on from the current situation, I think they have to kind of run it back with Mitch, guys. I honestly think they have to. I think they have to put him out there, and I think they have to just. Nagy needs to get his head out of his ass, okay? And they need to run the football, right? Which they did much better once Bill Lazor took over play calling. They need to sign Allen Robinson, of which is probably not going to happen because we obviously have already pissed him off to no end. And so that's what I would have liked for them to do, but they're not headed down that path because they already, blew up everything with Allen Robinson. I think Mitch is probably may go get another opportunity somewhere else and will probably be very good if we're being honest, because that's exactly how this plays out. And they're going to start in Nick Foles. They're not in a position, guys, to draft a quarterback. They're just not. And I would love to think that they would be in on the Deshaun Watson stuff. They're just not. Why would Deshaun Watson come to Chicago? Like I try and sit there and go, okay, if I'm Deshaun Watson and I want to leave a toxic situation, why am I leaving a toxic situation to go to another toxic situation? Right? Like I don't think he's excited about going to Chicago because I don't think Matt Nagy inspires any level of confidence. I don't think he's excited about being somewhere where the head coach he's going to have to learn the system could be gone halfway through the year. Or what happens, right? What happens if they start off, 2-4? Do they fire Matt? And then they got to bring in another new coach. And it's just, they're just in purgatory, guys. That's what I've called it. They're stuck in purgatory. They're too good to be at the bottom to draft a quarterback.
Worst possible place to be.
It's the worst possible place to be. They're too good to be bad enough to draft a good quarterback. That's just the truth.
Just reading the tea leaves with you now, you would have fired everybody, correct? Ryan, Nagy, got rid of the whole system. And she's shaking her head yes for those listening on the podcast.
Yeah, so. I 100% would have moved on. I don't think that there is a scenario that plays out here where, unfortunately for Ryan, although he's had some really excellent late round draft picks, of which I think he should be applauded for, and he has done a lot of good. He's also had major fails, and especially with the early picks, right? And you do not stay in your job as a GM in the NFL if you miss on first rounders over and over again. And you especially don't do that when you miss on a quarterback. And it's not missing, it's giving up draft picks to move up, to go get that guy. You had to be so damn sure that Mitch was the guy. And listen, I've had my woes with Mitch, but I think that there is a scenario that plays out where you have a Kyle Shanahan and Mitch Trubisky's fine, right? He's good.
Right,
He has the right coach that understands who he is, that builds an offense for him, a John Harbaugh, these types of scenarios. The problem is, guys, as we all know, the Bears do not have that coach, and they do not have the long-standing history of developing a quarterback ever.
Right.
So why did they take a project out of college when you saw that Deshaun Watson was surefire? He won in college. He beat Alabama. He put Clemson on the map. Like, do people not understand who he was when he came out? It wasn't hard.
People did.
Yeah, you took you took a project coming out of college knowing full well that you were going to fire the entire coaching staff.
It made no sense. It made no sense. And I've always felt bad. Yeah, I've always felt bad for Mitch because it's not his fault, man. Like, I think he didn't draft himself. He didn't put himself in this situation. And you can tell he busts his ass. Every player I talk to says they love playing with him. He works hard. He's got a good attitude. He's liked by all his players. He's just not the right guy because they don't have the right system and they don't have the right coaches. And he needed to go somewhere where he could sit, right? Or he could sit for a year. He could learn how to be a pro. He could get better on his mechanics. He could get developed into the type of quarterback that he needs to be. And that's just not Chicago, guys. It never has, and I don't think it will ever be.
With you talking like that, do you want to reassess? I just can't see Mitch Trubisky back with Nagy. I think, as you know, through basically your family, I'll just say, with Bruce, if that quarterback coach relationship is broken, it's like an abusive marriage. That relationship has to be good. And just Mitch's, what you said, I've been saying this for 3 years. You're going to have to do what Kyle Shanahan and Gary Kubiak do for their quarterbacks. For Mitch, Matt Nagy wants to run his stuff. He's so stubborn and so stupid, I'll say, rather than stubborn. He's beyond stubborn. He's so dumb that he can't even recognize this young kid's abilities and put them into play. It took him a year to figure out David Montgomery is really good. This is the kind of stuff we're dealing with here. So I just don't see how Mitch is back with this football team. And I want to say this to you. I don't know how this organization can, this fan base, I know we have thousands of listeners all over the world. They are done. They want change. They are writing letters. I all these years, Paige, you know me. I love the freaking Bears. I love the game of football. I have gone on the record on this show, keeping it 100, right, Jose? Keeping it 100 right now. I will not buy one thing, not one ticket, shirt, hat, nothing, unless it's given to me by my wife as a gift or something. I'm not putting a nickel into this franchise until Ted Phillips and change is made from Ryan Pace and Nagy. All we're getting is a repeat. It's like a rerun next year. Welcome back, Cotter's back on again. It's just horrific. And that's why I think their only move, and I'm stealing from Shane, we had a whole show about this, is to make this big push to cover your ass, CYA, cover your ass and get it right where you didn't get it right in the first. You were right there. Deshaun Watson. I was like so sure, I'm high five and they're trading up for Watson, baby. I was so excited. And then Mitch came. It felt like Leonard Floyd when I wanted Larry Tunsil. Every year this guy disappoints me. And listen, it's not personal at this point. It's just a fact. Yeah. I think they have to do this, Paige. I think they're going to go all in. They're going to trade 3 first round. They're going to try to save their asses.
I think that the problem with that scenario is there's other teams that are going to come to the dance that have better offers than the Bears do. They just do. They don't have an early first round pick. They don't have a young quarterback that's good. The best offer, how do we match Miami? How do we match Miami saying
that's why I want to
I think that's the key right there. I mean,
AFC Page.
Yeah, it's not interdivisional. They're not going to care. It's not. You're not going to trade with a team in your division or a Jacksonville and Indianapolis. You're talking about, hey, they're going to come with 318 Tua and a first next year. Good luck. What are we going to offer? We can't match that. Not even close. And they can turn their organization around like this. They'll get 2 firsts, Tua and a first next year in the top 20 this year. That's it. We can't match that. The Jets can match a much better deal than we can, and they have Sam Darnold to offer up, who people are still at least buying into, has some upside, sure. Right? Mitch is not. Nobody's looking for Mitch, right? It's just not happening. The only person that I think would take him and make something of him is Kyle Shanahan, Agreed. and I think Sean McVay could do it too. Both of them would.
Belichick can do it over there too.
Oh
for
sure.
I wouldn't count out Peyton down in New Orleans either, but I mean they're so cash strapped now. But
yeah,
they're Winston, right?
For sure. I think logically they just don't have, as Chris down here is saying, they don't have the draft capital to make a move to go get Deshaun.
Here's my question to you. Pause there. Does Flores want to give away all of that for Watson when he has this young kid in Tua? That's a big question too. A lot of these blog boys, I call them, just come up with these narratives. The Chicago Bears are an animal now backed into a corner. They're desperate.
For sure.
You could see a Khalil Mack or Akeem Hicks is thrown into the fray now.
I don't even think
it's trade JJ Watt.
Yeah. Paige, if Pace goes to Houston and offers up 3 first-rounders, Roquan and Jalen Johnson, I think that's going to get their attention.
Yeah, I think so. But do we really? I don't know.
For a quarterback,
do you really want to get Do you really?
For a quarterback, it's an off-the-ball backer. I feel like it's not going to be Roquan, but I love Roquan Smith, but an off-the-ball backer isn't going to. It sucks. It stings, but it's a. Bring back a 25-year-old quarterback.
They're collaborating on it, Paige, as we're talking. They're listening.
I think. Listen, I think I understand the want to get that done.
Oh,
right. Yeah. I totally get it, and I would never. Honestly, I would not fault the Bears for giving up every single thing they can to try and get Deshaun Watson. The problem is, to me, they want more than a pick. They want a quarterback back in the deal that they can sell to the franchise so they're not going to lose out. Because you have to think about it this way, guys. It's not just about football. It's also about team optics. Okay. They were going to host a live walk-in downtown in Houston, and Deshaun Watson had to tell the fans, do not walk in on this. Do not gather. COVID's going on. We do not want this to happen. So they have to pitch something back to their fan base that they can get excited about. I'll tell you what's not going to pitch the fan base. Roquan Smith and Jalen Johnson. Tua moves the needle. Like, that's why that makes sense. And to your point earlier, Phil, about why would Brian Flores do this? Brian Flores would do this because Tua wasn't necessarily his guy. They were split. Justin Herbert now especially looks really damn good. And I know that they were split going into the draft, going over both guys. We also know that their offensive coordinator at Alabama at the time told them that Tua doesn't read half the field, which you could tell if you were watching him play football this year. He was struggling. Okay, that's a problem. Brian Flores also knows they're in a window here where that team is a quarterback away. That team is really, really good. That Dolphins team is really, really good. They have multiple picks next year, still from Houston. So they can go in and they can go, okay, we're instantaneously upgrading ourselves. Houston gets an opportunity to hit a total reset with a quarterback they think they can make work, right? That's on a rookie deal, and they can get a ton of picks back. I don't think that the Bears are going to be able to match what other organizations, Miami and New York, are going to be able to match. Now, if they say we're not doing anything with the AFC, which I do not think is going to happen, the Bears should enter the chat, right? I think the Bears should try no matter what. And I do think that, they're going to do something desperate because their ass is on the line and they know that. And we'll see what it looks like. And if they, I didn't ever think they'd pull off the Khalil Mack trade either. So
that's what I always bring up. That was my point, but you stole it. So I'm not going to throw it at you now because everybody's like, they're never going to. I remember that. Me and Shane were like, don't count it out. The pass rusher is second, only the quarterback. Sure enough, it happened. Yeah. But the thing that just drives me nuts, even, and it's no offense to you coming into the show, Bruce Arians, you're right there. You're right there. That's a football guy. Deshaun Watson, you're right there. How do you get that wrong? Why are these guys still here?
I don't know.
That's what it just
I don't know.
drives
they
me
don't.
insane.
I think we do. We just don't have football guys, right? We don't have like Ted Phillips is not a football guy, right? Like you hear him talking, it makes me sick to like my stomach turns, right? Like every time he opens his mouth, it's almost like they wanted to piss us off during that press conference. Like I just want to know, like, do you guys have any training at all? Like it's like, is this your first time in front of a mic? Like you legitimately wanted to piss off your entire city, your entire fan base? Well done. Good job. Like I do not understand. I feel bad for my friends that work within the Bears organization that have to run social and do all these things because it's like, it's not your fault. It's not the players' fault. These are, they're doing their jobs. They're showing up. It's the front office. It always has. They've made multiple mistakes. I'm 31 years old. They have never made a good decision. Never. It is absolutely asinine watching them year after year after year just make stupid move after stupid move. And they've gotten away with it because they've been able to draft, such good defenses and play this type of football. But guys, 2021, it's a different version of football. And we're going to run the ball and play defense. It's not going to hold up anymore, guys. We need to be able to score points. Yep. You have to. It's a new league. And we're trying to live in 1985, and it's not coming back. It's just not.
Preaching to the choir right there. Don't you think today's news about them interviewing Mike Singletary for DC was pandering to the meatballs of 1985? I mean, to take some of the, focus off of the dumpster fire that was that press conference page?
100%. I do not. With as much respect as I could possibly have for Mike Singletary, he is not the person that we need as the defensive coordinator.
Totally agree.
This is 150% pandering to all the people that rah-rah and dress up like Ditka and go crazy and talk about stuff that happened 35 years ago. Guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. It would happen before I was alive. Like, I literally talk about a Super Bowl I was not alive to watch. Like, that is insanity. That is the way we talk about this. We are living off of one thing that happened once that actually is, quite frankly, embarrassing that super talented team only got one Super Bowl. Like, that's the worst part is, like, if you really look at how freaking good that team was, the fact that they did not have longevity is a crime. Like, it's just tough, man. Like, I love this team. I want it so bad. I have such good friends. Even a lot of the players I really like, and they totally love the city, right? Like Khalil and Akeem and Roquan and all these dudes, like they love and they ball for the city, but there's nothing they could do. At a certain point, this defense gets totally defeated because they have absolutely no faith that this offense can do anything ever. And Nick Foles is probably the worst thing that Ryan Pace did. If I look back, even like that signing is atrocious to me. It is the amount of money that they are spending this year and this upcoming year on Nick Foles, who has showed you for his entire career that he is not the type of person you can trust to be a starting quarterback over a long period of time. He can come in. You want to bring him in off the bench
3 to
to play
5
4 games?
Stops, yeah.
Sure. He's not going to win for you. I do not. It was such a desperate move because they missed on Teddy, because they would not tell Teddy that he would be the starting quarterback. And that's what happened. Like it's just a disaster.
Do you put that
was
more
another
on
disaster?
Do you put that more on Ryan Pace, or do you put that on as a hand-picked quarterback for Matt Nagy?
That's all Matt Nagy.
Yeah. Totally
all
agree.
Matt Nagy. I want this guy. This is the guy that can run my offense. He is that egotistical about his offense, man. Like, he thinks he just absolutely is the most innovative offensive mind. And it's like, dude, like, you worked under Andy Reid. Like, stop pretending like it was you. Like, I'm so tired of that. People do not understand. Andy Reid, that is his offense. Okay. Nobody else's offense. That is his offense. And oh, by the way, Patrick Mahomes did not come in the deal when they hired Matt Nagy.
Exactly.
So stop.
Kind of important.
Travis Kelce also didn't come in the deal, or Tyreek Hill. So, like, stop trying to compare apples to apples when the situations are not apples to apples. They are so far away from being comparable situations.
So I wasn't far away when I said and promoted this young woman coming on the show, going to be keeping it 100 to all of the 100 crew. You could see the comments in the chat. Our producer, Claudio the Barber, his camera doesn't work for some reason. He's getting it, and people are getting amped up with you, Paige. Keep bringing it, keeping it 100, just like the show said. When you look at this draft, though, Paige, the Bears have the 20th pick. Obviously, if there's no trade or free agent big move trade with, maybe a Derek Carr or whatever they're going to do. At 20, is there, because of your draft network and everything, and just keeping it 100, what would you do at 20? Are you looking at a quarterback there with this franchise? Are you looking at offensive tackles? A receiver? What are you doing here with the 20th pick? If you were I
think based off of what I think is going to happen and materialize in front of them, I think they're going to have an opportunity to get one of the good tackles up there, up at that 20 spot. And I don't anticipate they're going to be able to, put something together to jump up and get a quarterback. So I think they are going to, have to try and make something happen in free agency. And they're going to be in that 20th spot, and they need to beef up that offensive line. It's needed it for a while. And I don't anticipate that they're going to be able to do anything else at that spot. And I would not reach for a quarterback there, right? The guys that are going to be the guys that we would be interested in, the Trey Lance, obviously Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, they're going to be gone. They're not going to be there at 20. So you're looking at a Kyle Trask or a Mac Jones, not at 20, guys. They're not coming in to be better than Mitch right now. They're just not. And I firmly believe that.
I like Mac Jones a lot.
I like Mac Jones a lot too. I like him in the third round. I like him in the third round. Like I that's where I would feel that's what he's going to walk out of our evaluations. Like, we'll have a third round grade. He'll get taken in the end of the first, beginning of the second, because that's what everybody does with quarterbacks. They reach, but I don't. He's not a guy that's going to come in and make this team a Super Bowl contender. It's just not. He's not good enough.
Not in year one.
Not yet. Not in year one. But I really like that kid a lot.
I like him too. Which means they'll probably fall in love with Kyle Trask, right? And then they'll draft him.
Please no.
That's what's gonna happen. Just so we're clear.
Talked about getting kicked in the nuts. Paige came in.
Let me tell you how this is gonna happen. We do not want him, so that is what's going to happen. So just prepare accordingly, Bears fans. So that's what's gonna happen.
So I'll switch it up a little bit, Paige. Your connection with the Cardinals, and you were talking about Arians. Can you give us some insight on his former guy in Betcher, possibly, coming here and bringing his aggressive mentality to the Bears defense? I wasn't aware of it. I don't know if you were. Brad Biggs reported that he was actually an outside advisor for the Bears and for Matt Nagy this season. And to me, it seems like he's going to be the shoe-in to replace Pagano. We saw tonight Jay Rodgers is headed to the Chargers, according to Brad Biggs. But can you shed some light on James Betcher?
Best coach on the staff is leaving. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I hope they hire James. Because James is his system that he learned under Todd Bowles here in Arizona. He was supposed to be the head coach in Arizona after Bruce left. right? And
Bowles was.
Yeah, no.
Or
No,
Betcher.
here it was Betcher was.
Oh, okay. Really?
Because Todd Bowles was in New York when Bruce
Oh, right,
retired.
yep.
It was
That's
supposed to
right.
be Betcher here in Chicago, and they flubbed it, and they hired Steve Wilkes, and it pissed off all the players, and it was a disaster. It was a total disaster. The team won one game, and then they hit the reset button and they hired, obviously, Cliff Kingsbury and got Kyler Murray. But that was a disaster of a season, and that's because they moved on. They changed the defense. They moved on from everything that was working. They always had a top 10 defense while under James and under Todd. And I think the aggressive blitzes and everything that I ask for week after week after week after week with the guys that we have on our roster, that is what James will bring to the table. James is a smart guy. He's a player's coach. He's a Chicago boy. He grew up right outside of Chicago. He grew up a Bears fan. This is the job he would love. And quite frankly, I almost feel like if Matt lost his job, he's the interim head coach and he becomes the head coach. Like, he's the type of guy that has that in him. I have full faith that James would not only, first and foremost, I know I'm going to get enough blitzes, and I don't know if I don't get enough, then I'm going to text James and be like, yo, we need to talk about how much blitzing is happening. But this is his dream job, guys. Like, he grew up a Bears fan his whole life. That's, as much as you don't want to say it matters, man. Like, he gets it. He understands.
Always said that shit.
He's a Midwest guy. He grew up like that. He understands the city. He knows what it means. It means more to him, period. And he understands defense. He's a younger dude. The guys love him. Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, ask any of those dudes. They rode for him. He's the guy. I hope this is what they do.
Giving him a interview support here.
Vote of confidence. I hope which means, of course, they will not do it. So
let's change that. I always say to Shane, we're stopping doing this shit. We're going to push positive energy out there.
Okay.
We got our first female vice president. Ever. Positive energy.
All the positive energy, all the woosah, everything that's positive. I needed push towards James Betcher being the defensive coordinator, because then I at least know one side of the football is going to be run well, and that's better than nothing. So I'll at least get the defense running well.
Paige, weren't you surprised about how, I mean, I know the offense had to factor in, with their ineffectiveness, but I was stunned with Pagano, and just, I always have that picture of him saying, guys, we're going to be getting our defense going this way. And he went totally against the grain.
Robert Quinn dropped
3rd and 6. You got guys 12 yards off the ball.
Hicks was dropped in coverage against the Saints.
I don't, obviously that Saints game, I think it's hard to look at because he was trying to make stuff happen with what he had, right? When you don't have a healthy cornerback and no Roquan Smith and everything that they were out in that game, all things considered, they played a perfect first half on defense, right? To only give up 7 points in the first half against that team. I mean, even just 21 points in general, like that game defensively, you're going to give up some. They played such a good game. You can't, whims and all. I mean, it's just like, it's always something, man. It's always something with this team. I think I love Chuck, great dude. Happy for him, retirement. I think he's had a great career. Obviously, he did great things in Indianapolis for a long time. I think he was a great coach, but I think it's, kind of that older generation, a lot of the old stuff. It's hard to change your habits when you get to a certain age, right? You get used to doing things the way you want, and you're not as apt to change things around. That's why I'm excited about James, who I know took a year off, was consulting a bunch of different NFL teams, and will come in with like a fresh perspective, because one of the things he told me is this year he had the ability to, scout more offenses than he ever has, because he wasn't coaching. So he's so used to being dialed into what he has to prepare for week in and week out, that this year he had a really good opportunity to kind of sit back and watch everything and really dial it in. So, man, I hope they all the positive woos saw to go get my guy James, because that would be a great hire.
he's never had a guy like Khalil Mack at his disposal, or Akeem Hicks, or Roquan Smith. Or,
That's exactly right. The pieces fit the aggressive defense that he wants to run, right?
Let me
And
ask you
that's
this,
a lot of it.
Let me ask you, stay there, aggressive. How much you have a lot of contacts? I know Pagano and Bruce Arians are close. So how much was this Matt Nagy saying, we're not going to be aggressive as much as you want to be aggressive because my offense over here can't keep up? How much was he, as the CEO or the play caller stuck in his sheet on Sundays, involved in how this defense played aggressively or not aggressively?
This is what I'll say. If Bruce was the offensive coordinator or calling the plays or the head coach, the defense would have looked a lot different under the same exact defensive coordinator in Chuck Pagano. That's how I'll say it. Like
that's what
if Bruce was running that offense, Chuck would have been in a totally different position. So I listen. I'm sure Matt. I've talked to Matt. He's a nice guy, right? He's he's a good dude. He's a nice dude. I just don't think he's a good head football coach. And I think he's just in over his head, and he got a job way too early. Maybe could have developed longer. But this is what happens in the NFL when you start to think that you're going to get Andy Reid because he's under Andy Reid, right? Like it is a trap that a lot of these guys fall into. I shook hands with Sean McVay, so I'm going to be Sean McVay. No, you're not going to be Sean McVay. I can assure you of that, because Sean McVay grew up in the NFL, as did Kyle Shanahan. These guys do not grow on trees. Like it's just there are not 32 great head coaches. There just aren't. And unfortunately, the Bears have missed, and they've missed big multiple times.
My uncle Sam Ritigliano said to me, Phil, you can't believe how many shoe salesmen are in the NFL coaching because of what Paige is saying. They got a handshake. He's a friend of mine. That guy, he's loyal. Loyalty only goes so far. You got to know. You got to teach. When I break down the tape page, I look at a fucking team that looks like a JV squad that doesn't have any rules, fundamentals, or any kind of aggression, because they don't know what they're doing. So, if you don't know where you're going to block or the front or whatever, you don't have any rules, then you're going to be thinking and you're not being aggressive. And you saw that all the time. This guy is so in over his head, and it's a testament to you and to testament to what we're doing here. Because honestly, we've been touting this for a long time, trying to educate fans on the tape, not on numbers, not on the blog boys stories and stats and PFF grades. Just like you guys break down tape, so I can respect your network and the things that you guys have to say. That's why I said we got to get Paige on this network and to show all these new fans that people are going to start following you, keeping it 100. And really, they deserve that. I could see it already in the chat, how fired up you're getting people, because you're keeping it 100. Nagy is way out of his league. Ryan Pace, Ernie Accorsi. I've called out all these guys that just go on reputation. They don't know football. They don't have football people. You had to do the right thing, Paige. Honestly,
I was hoping they would promote. They would fire Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. Yep. They would promote Champ Kelly to from our personnel department to be our new GM, and they would go out and they would hire a new head coach, and they would conduct a search, and they would find a good group that they were excited about, that they could bring to the table. But guys, this is not mutually exclusive to the Chicago Bears. Right. The Jacksonville Jaguars have arguably the most lucrative spot to go, with a number 1 overall pick and tons of offensive weapons and all of these things that they have and all this cap space. And they went and hired Urban Meyer, who has absolutely no NFL coaching experience. Yep. It is. This is not exclusive to the Bears. Most franchises in the NFL are run poorly. Most. That is the truth. And it is because you've got owners who are egotistical, who have a lot of money, and were very successful in whatever they did, right? And so they assume that they are going to be able to be really good at running a football team. Well, guess what? Running a football team is not the same as whatever business they either inherited from their parents, a lot of them, okay? So they weren't responsible for making all the money. They inherited it, okay? Or they ran a very good business, but they don't know how to do this, right? Mark Cuban is a great example of he knows what he knows and he knows what he doesn't know, right? He's a super involved owner, but he's also the person that is the first person to say, I don't know that, I need help. What is that? Good leadership. That's not what we have. And that's been a problem for a long time.
If you aren't following Paige Dimakos, you need to do it. Paige, where can people find you? And now that you are the president and CEO over there at the Draft Network, talk about some things that you guys have going on over there.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can follow me at the _sports page with an I on both Twitter and Instagram. You can follow the Draft Network. As you can see the logo behind me, just search the Draft Network. You'll see us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, every single thing that is out there. We are there. We are obviously very much in high season. We're getting ready to go to Mobile, Alabama next week for the Senior Bowl, which I'm really excited about. So I'll be talking about all the prospects that are going to be out there. There's going to be a lot of really good ones, especially with the combine not happening in its regular kind of capacity. We're going to be covering some of these more what I would call micro combines that are going to happen with House of Athletes and some of these other trainers in the NFL. So you're going to want to follow us because you're going to want to know what the Bears are going to do and, you know, what they're going to be able to facilitate. And I hope that I am able to deliver positive news to you guys, but I will not sugarcoat it. And that's who I am.
We respect. We love. That's why you're on this show.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm not going to make you feel all rosy unless you deserve to feel rosy. So I hope that that's what we get, but I also know better. So let's wait for the opportunity to have the rose-colored glasses on.
Well, we missed you here.
Yeah,
glad you're back.
This is fun.
Can you do me one favor before we let you go? Can you do a station ID for us? And I'll give you the script real quick. This is Paige Dimakos. You could say CEO. I would if I had that title. Of the Draft Network. And you're listening to my boys, Shayne and Phil, on the Tape Never Lies Network.
Okay. On the Tape Never Lies Network, correct?
There you go.
Okay. All right, you
want the countdown? Funny. You want the countdown?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. We'll
pressure now.
We'll lock and load. We'll lock and load here, and I'll have to spy. I'm just trying to figure out how do I incorporate something funny about watching tape. So, all right, everybody. This is Paige Dimakos, CEO of the Draft Network and Queen of Chicago Sports Media. You're listening to my guys Shayne and Phil on the Tape Never Lies Network, and that's because the Draft Network also agrees the tape never lies. So you better watch the tape.
There you go.
Oh, one take. It took Akeem Hicks 11 takes.
Oh, poor Akeem.
Hey, Paige, one more thing real quick. Did you give JC some shit from Bears fans when we beat Tampa?
Do you know me? Come on. Come on. I was like, and then he wanted to talk that talk afterwards about the Bears.
He sure did.
Yeah, and I cashed in on the Bears going over 7-9. So I was like, better hope we don't meet up in the playoffs, big dog, because now we're in your head.
Well, Paige, you're awesome, phenomenal. Thanks. We love you, and honestly, I want to take some of your guys and bring them on here.
Yeah,
and promote what you guys do over there, because as Berlissimo was saying in the chat, you guys have something special going on over there. And listen, this is a big world, football world. When somebody's doing something good, you got to share it with people so that you educate the fans. I'm tired of the trolls. That's what we're trying to do. We want
we want to make sure that we have the ability to, enable the fans to be smart and make their own decisions about what prospects they like and be their own GM. And I've told all the Bears fans, feel free to do 7-round mocks, send them my way. And I'm going to send them all to Ryan Pace. Whether or not he's going to read them or not is to be determined. But, we're going to try and help him out a little bit here.
They'd be better off. I'm serious. They'd be better off. God bless you. I don't want to keep you any longer.
Thank you, guys.
I could keep her forever because she has a football acumen and she keeps it 100. That's what this show is about. That's what this network's about. It's been a long time. Yeah. If Shayne's the smartest man, she is fighting for the smartest woman. She's already got.
I almost forgot to ask her about JC was clapping a little bit.
Was he?
Oh yeah, I know JC. We follow each other on Twitter, and we're going back and forth a little bit on pre Tampa Chicago game, and then Chicago gave it to him there a little bit, and
they did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I thought of Paige immediately, and I was going to DM her and ask her, and then I forgot to. And then I said, I'll just save it for the show. So I was glad I got to ask her that at the end because
perfect ending.
We know Paige well enough to know that she's definitely gonna hammer hammer a guy like JC for talking down to the Bears.
Of course.
Hello,
people. There he is. One guest to another guest. Look at this.
I had no idea we were going to have a show today, guys. I thought we were done for the year.
Claudio.
Claude, yeah. Poor Claude.
Claude can't look. Claude's in the dark.
Shit.
Look at him. Claude.
Throw him up there just for a couple. Throw him up there for a couple minutes.
You can hear me at least, right? You can hear me?
You've never looked so good, man.
I know. Thank you.
Been
Thank you. I
watching the
appreciate it.
inauguration all day. Claudio's producing behind the scenes. Cars just finished up a great interview with Paige Dimakos from the Draft Network. Really getting people
starting
fired
quarterback
up.
of the Chicago Bears next year. Cars, who do you think she picked? You got an edible next to you?
I already took one. That's why I'm a little.
You might need to go cut the other half of that.
I don't give a fuck that he smokes weed. They all smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
There you go, Cars.
I mean, it's good. So I'm gonna
smoke.
Don't tell me she said Mitch.
She did say Mitch. But she kind of like in the interview, if you go back, she talked way off of Mitch in response. That's why I was like, Paige, you're basically saying there's no way to me. No. That's the only thing I didn't agree with Paige about. And Mac Jones. She said he's a 3rd round pick.
Based on talent, he's a 3rd rounder, but she thinks he'll go.
He'll go higher, she said. But
that where she's right is I'm not saying that this is on Mac Jones, but that happens. Remember Christian Ponder. Mitch is a classic case of a guy that's
Trubisky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. Now you want to fucking trade the world for him. You had him right there at number 3.
No, listen, anytime that you can spend 6 times the investment of what you spent to move up 1 spot in the draft, you just have to do it. I'd rather have him trade for one than draft 3 first-round guys, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing, Paige shot down the Watson stuff pretty hard for Chicago. And listen, we said it on the show the other. You can't trump the fucking Dolphins package. You can't.
Right.
With what they can offer. But I can't sit back here and say that if a team is shipping, if you were so sold on Tua last year, I understand you're getting Deshaun Watson back, but to me, that's still a major. I was never a Tua guy, and I'm an Alabama fan.
Said they were split in the room,
right? But
Herbert and Tua.
Listen, if you're trading a guy that you drafted that high after a half a season of play, I don't give a shit who it's for. It's still a fucking red flag.
It's huge. The way they kind of split him and pulled him and did that, it does give you some pause as to whether they
Watson
think
has the last say.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So I saw someone.
I don't think they play the Texans play the AFC East next year. So that would always give me pause.
She said that she doesn't believe that's a hindrance, but I think it would be. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, I mean, it
the way
makes
those
sense.
trades happen, though.
I didn't know that fact, though, that Houston plays the A. That I don't know. So you're the GM there, Cesario, former fucking Patriots guy, who, by the way, has a lot of history trading with Ryan Pace. I'm not breaking news there. It's written. People should know this. They've traded a lot together, those two. Now he's the GM with the Texans. The Bears have a need. They got to cover their asses. Honestly, I'm telling you, I felt confident about the Chicago Bears signing Jared Allen. Everyone told me, no fucking way. I go, I'm telling you, I feel, and someone had told me, that same person's telling me the Bears are about Deshaun Watson and covering their asses. Shayne, and I don't know if you were involved in that conversation. My bad. If you are, just add yourself. I'm serious.
No, you're good.
Shayne saying to me that, Phil, think about this. I'll never forget that moment. He's 100% right. We had the worst fucking press conference, condescending. I produced an open that should be up for an Emmy to showcase the shit show that is this franchise. The coach, nobody's competent. It's like I'm telling. I was yelling at me and Shayne were fucking scolding your boy Greg Braggs. He's like, yeah, as much as I want, I'm still gonna buy tickets to the Bears. I'm like, no, you're fucking not.
I want to go on the record. Greg Braggs is not my boy. I want that to be crystal clear. I want that in.
He's not blue. Oh shit. Well, not your boy Braggs. Me and Shayne are scolding him. I'm saying to everybody, even if they open the fucking stands, don't buy. Don't buy. Don't settle for this shit. I love the Bears. Look at me. In Connecticut, anybody that knows me knows the Bears. I get fucking texts from random people. Your boy's lost. Yeah, yep. I know. I fucking know. Believe me. It fires me up, as you could tell. I'm not going to fucking buy. I'm keeping that 100. Never update. Greg Braggs is not Carr's boy.
No, you can't.
It's an update on ESPN.
Breaking news. Actually, we can use that as a promo card.
I gotta give him credit for.
We'll take that down real quick, and we're gonna do a little thing. We'll do a breaking news and cards. You can say that again. All right, you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
Sources close to one Matt Carsonson report today that Greg Braggs is in fact not his boy.
Perfect.
There you go.
And Acevedo, that timestamp was 1:27:42. So we can cut that and promo it.
1:27:42. Hour and 27 minutes, 42 seconds. Look at you.
Look at
you. Well, it's official. Chris Jackal, our boy, patron member 420, or is he 400? 300. Sorry, 300. Mr. 300 says it's official. Our best coach has left the staff. There you go.
I mean, would you want to say what a dumpster fire? Yeah, I think.
Listen, I don't want to lose him as a defensive line coach. I'm not heartbroken that he's not our defensive coordinator. I'm keeping it 100.
Going there? He's not going there to be the DC, is he?
I thought that's what they said. I thought that's what Big said.
No, it hasn't been reported.
No, he's going because he was out of contract, which is the only reason he can. Because the reports have been for a while that he only wants to coach the line. right?
Yeah.
Like that's
well,
it.
John Jenkins, friend of the show, said this guy is the best football coach he's ever had.
Well,
And that's
you know,
a lot of
it. The thing about it, I get it, Phil. And listen, we've all been on teams at varying levels and whatnot.
You're right. I know where you're going.
Sam Acho came out and said the same thing about Sean Desai. He didn't promote Jay Rodgers at all.
Yep.
Sam Acho didn't. You know what I mean? He would have been.
Acho, he's an outside linebacker. He was a backer. He really didn't work
Desai is a safeties coach.
That's true.
So, like I said, I think it's, I take a lot of that stuff. I mean, Brian Urlacher said he was never going to play for another coach when they fired Dick Duran originally, way back. And then he played for Lovie Smith and said, well, I don't want to ever play for another head coach. Well, listen, you couldn't play anymore. That's why nobody else was sign you at that point, as much as that pains people.
Something that stuck out in the conversation with Paige that I don't know, maybe I just never put it together like that, but they've never done anything right. That hit me.
No, Phil, they couldn't
hit me in the face.
They have to listen. Soldier Field is nice, but you're in Chicago and you have this. The second or third smallest stadium in the NFL, and you're in the second or third, or the third largest market.
Yeah,
I get that, but honestly, the stadium thing, to me, that stadium is beautiful. These people
Phil,
are UFO. It fucking that stadium is gorgeous inside. I'm just keeping it 100. I've been to Lambeau. I've been to the Chiefs, Cleveland. I've been to New England. The Giant stadium.
Yes.
I get it. Bad business deal. But I'm just saying, just keeping it 100 on the show.
I can buy a pair of shoes that are 4 sizes too small and they can look great, but it's they don't fucking fit.
That's it. You know what I mean? They made that was dumb, but the stadium itself, I'm getting away from this. Like the McCaskies are cheap. The stadium is beautiful. That's my truth. Cars, have you been to the stadium? Have you gone?
Multiple.
Ask about his NFC Championship game.
I was there
for the fucking reverse
-20. It's a sore subject, and the proper phrase is, you can Shane, you can stick your head up a bull's ass to see what a ribeye looks like, but you're better off to ask the butcher instead, right?
Yeah. That's Tommy Boy, my favorite movie, one of my top 5s.
It is beautiful. It's not big enough. It was never state of the art, even when it was done. So it's like you spent all this money to try to maintain, protected status. And then they're like, this thing is so weird looking. No, you've lost it. It's a horrible deal.
It's like saying Wrigley. I was trying to read his comment, Claudio, Evan Wells from Iowa, my boy.
Iowa. Toots shout out.
I like saying Wrigley is trash because it doesn't hold 100,000 fans. It's like saying Wrigley is trash.
No, it's not.
It's saying that to you guys,
not
to me.
Chicago tore everything down
and made it bigger so that they could afford the payroll that they wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not a good comp. They didn't totally rip down Wrigley Field and start. It's the fucking Chicago Bears. You're in Chicago.
Sheree doesn't agree with me, so
20,000 more seats, and you could probably have afforded to fire Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy.
But that's
seriously,
it's the truth. It's not even a fucking joke.
He's
100% right. But
you have the truth. They're making money over hand and fist.
But Phil, they don't.
What if you have 20,000 extra seats for a 10-year period? The purse strings, when it's like double paying coaches and GMs because you don't want to, right? Doing all of that.
I see your point. I see it.
That's where it ends it.
The TV deal and the money they make is just, I don't know how much a beer there is. I can't remember. I don't really buy
50.
I don't buy beer at the stadium. Never have.
Right, and that's the Bear. If they have to move on, listen, today, I know there's going to be people that are pissed. It's got to be if you have a multi-purpose stadium, you're talking about fucking Final Fours. You're in fucking Chicago.
Yeah, but they don't even own the stadium. The fucking park district owns it.
Right.
And the reality is,
Phil,
that's
listen,
an issue.
We're worried about this team. We're worried about this team figuring out the quarterback position. And for years, they couldn't figure out the turf situation. The
field turf.
No, they couldn't figure out.
Field turf down. Why is this
We're going to
hard?
build the team on speed and athleticism, and we're going to make them run on fucking 6 inches of grass and mud.
Here's quicksand. Use that team speed.
Put that sawdust down and paint it green. Like,
so,
what the fuck are we doing?
Like when the kid threw up in high school, they cover it with the sawdust. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you ever watch the Bears and you're like, how come
fucking got
these
cat
guys look
litter
so
down?
slow when I watch the Bears play? They look so slow all over the field when you compare it to other football teams. And part of it is because of the turf.
I agree.
It's the truth. You
You
know,
don't think it's
excited to
going to
watch
help
them at
Robert
LA.
Quinn bend
Oh, yeah.
or Khalil Mack bend that corner? How many times did we count slip counts? For years, 1 year it was 49 critical slips for the Bears, not even including opponent slipping. Last year
game in Soldier Field, the opponent was my fucking arch nemesis, the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoff game. We lost 33-19. Remember it well.
Jordan Howard slipped.
No, we're talking about the original sold way back, 2001.
On the turf? That was
it wasn't turf. 2001 wasn't turf. It was on grass. It was a playoff
that was
game.
Fullback.
Yeah, we went 13-3. Jim Miller got cheap shotted by Hugh Douglas. Cecil Martin was left uncovered in the fucking end zone. Catch a touchdown on his fucking knees. Jerry Azuma pick six. Donovan McNabb coming out of halftime.
Oh my God, there was hope. Where's my boy Gary with a cigar? Hope. We hope there's hope. After listening to Paige, I got smacked in the face thinking that these guys could do something right, but they aren't. So she might be right, Cars. Mitch is coming back. Greg, you're not friend Greg. He's going to be excited.
Claude just texted me and he said he knows what they got to put in for grass at Soldier Field.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
Shut up, Claude.
Claudio.
No, that's
Dude, what
dark room. Dark room barber.
Big plays are nice. They're good.
Thank you, Matt. We know their big plays are nice. They're good. It was an interview you must see, an open you must see. This show, Keepin It 100. Like I put my boys down for bed. I took a shower and I just asked Shayne, I go, when did we start? When's the birth of this network? Just to put perspective on the amount of fans and views and people that are sharing this. I want to say in this new off season, this is like the kickoff for me. Like the QB Quandary show is just a showcase of what we're going to do on the patron side. But tonight, obviously, every Wednesday night, we're going to be here. And I wanted to say thank you, fans. Good and bad, trolls too, for sharing, for commenting, for being the passionate football people that you are. And I really, truly mean that. If you know me, I made it a point tonight. I'm just humbled by it. And that interview with Paige is a great way to kick off the off season because she basically kicked us in the balls thinking about fucking what could have been with Bruce Arians instead of Mark Trestman. How the fucking football world turns is unreal with the hires. And I always go back, like I said.
Yeah.
Cards, I don't know if you got to hear it, but she said she's very, very close with the Arians family.
Yeah,
he said 100% when he left the interview, it's mine. Job is mine. Knocked it out of the park.
He thought it was his.
And then we hired the embalmed guy.
Well, I mean, you always want to ask him what his Super Bowl parade plan was.
Yeah.
I mean,
God.
we
got it all
chose a
mapped
head
out.
coach because he had a Super Bowl celebration plan.
Yeah.
If you're a Pace fan, put him up. Eric, I saw him pop up. Claudio, Eric Alley, put his comment. No, not that one. He was. I wonder if I'm considered a troll for being a Pace fan. No, I mean you have a. You could cheer for whoever you want. I want Pace to be successful. Like this afternoon, it's so ironic. This right here just notched my head a spark. Shayne. Yes. Shayne and I don't go, and I know Cars for 20 years through. I've never met them in person, but I've known these guys, and there's nothing about any of us that's to spark the contrarian view to try to get amped up. Yeah. Our truth is in the truth of what we feel, and we say that. I'm educating you on the tape so you can make an educated understanding that somebody, fill in the blank, PFF Brad, is misleading you, that those numbers of Charles Leno being average are wrong, that the tape tells me he's below average.
Right.
That the center, whoever.
I think though, what's interesting is this whole Bears team. You could love Pace and look at what he's done in the back half of the draft, and you can hate him for the first. You know, like Mitch, Nagy, they've all had, like, they are totally glass half full people. What all of us do on each one of these topics is like there's no in between. It's this person is this person is that, and neither is truthfully wrong. Right? Yeah. Like there's enough evidence to show Mitch can't be a good quarterback, he can. That Matt can't be a good coach, and he can't. That Ryan Pace knows how to draft, and goddamn, he can't. Right? Like there's enough kind of weirdness on both sides. They aren't all. This isn't clear cut on any of them being good or bad.
Well, a couple of questions here that I just want to get through in the chat. Jeff Burton said, and Paige brought this up too, and I was gonna double back on it, but we didn't have time because she had to go.
Yeah.
But we aren't in position at 20 to get one of the top quarterbacks. That's not true. It's because Kansas City was at 27. They moved up to 10 by flipping a future one with Buffalo or Cleveland or somebody.
They went up with the Texans, if I'm correct.
No.
No.
Texans went to 12.
It was with Cleveland. Yeah.
So they went from 27 to 10 by flipping a future one. That got them into top 10. Then, I mean, Philly, when they did the Wentz thing, they actually went up twice. They made a smaller trade up, and then they blew their load and
played hotchkiss.
Yep, and did that. But there was another one too. Where was I looking?
I wanted to say this. I think he's about the third and fourth rounds with Pace. Is that one that you want?
Well, yeah, they talked about that he was horrific in the second round, and that's just somebody tying Ryan Pace to Adam Shaheen and not looking at the full story.
Well, he did trade up for Anthony Miller in the second round.
Well, I wouldn't call that horrific. I mean, you have production there. There was promise there. You also drafted Eddie Goldman in the second round.
That's a great.
Is anybody bagging on Jalen Johnson right now? We think that the arrow is still pointed up for Cole Kmet. So I'm not going to buy into the argument that he's been horrific there, because I don't think that's true. And one thing that we've run into it, and these fans have to realize, guys, the draft there's nobody. If you bat 250 in the draft, it's pretty fucking great. I mean,
we would be batting that. I could go back in our history. We would.
But I'm just saying. Overall, Phil,
you're right there, man.
You run into the problem, like whoever the Bears draft at number 20. If they draft an offensive tackle, 99% of the fan base is going to say, "All right, we have our left tackle or right tackle for the next 12 years."
Well, you hope.
Right?
That's all.
But it doesn't. It's not set in stone. That's what I'm saying. Just because they're drafted, that just starts the process.
I think this is the truest, Jay Bond. This is my opinion of truth. There's two things I want to say Sorry, Cars. Then
You're fine.
First round picks, the GM, those third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh rounds, those are your scouts, and you believe in those area scouts. So that's a testament to them. I've always said that. I've always known it. He's actually admitted that. So I go back to that night and I see Pace in there calling out the room that everybody was in unison on Mitch Trubisky being the guy. And they did that. I don't know.
Well, because I think that you see all that, Phil, that the big key word with there was consensus.
Yeah,
remember, the room.
It's always a C word.
Collaboration,
right.
Synergy, regression, consensus. It is horrible. And this right here, Jay Bonds, and will be my last point, is the tipping edge, because I always say that's the most important hire right there. The Nagy, he's not ready. He's not a head coach. And that's where we are, because
there
to Jay's point, we would, like with Bruce Arians, with Jay Cutler. It's the perfect match.
There's a different way to look at
we couldn't get it right.
There's a different way to look at all of this, Phil, and I think it's a interesting take that kind of just popped into my head, but we would all make the Khalil Mack trade and understand it. It's not just about a specific sack number, but the second that trade was consummated may have been the kiss of death for Mitch Trubisky, because the fucking expectations went up through the fucking roof, and Mitch was never fucking ready, ever.
So that's where pause right there. That's where the GM
that's what I'm saying.
Wrong, because
but he believed in it, and he believed in the head coach, and
exactly
none of them were ready. None of them.
Oh my God, I see your point, and I'm saying that's why it's so imperative that they do the thing they've never done: fire everybody and get the football person in there. You, like I said in my comment, I can hire 1 million fucking nerds that understand accounting and money. That's fine. You got to find a football. That's the hard thing, just like a quarterback to find. It's a football person. They didn't do it. They've never done it. This is just prolonging the inevitable.
Well, just to go back to that, Phil, to play off of what I was saying with the Mac trade and with Mitch is this plays into what I've always said about and when I say mental acumen, I'm not saying that Mitch is a dumb person. Mentally, I don't think he's where a big-time quarterback needs to be. And sometimes you have to have balls enough to stand up to your superiors or to your teachers or whoever and say, listen, I'm not this. We need to fucking back off a little bit with this. I'm not there. And there's nothing wrong with that. It takes a pretty strong person to do that, to admit that, hey, you're spoon feeding me with a fucking shovel. It's too much right now. Remember the 101 and 102 or whatever, however the fuck they phrased it. But I think that those expectation levels went from here to fucking up in the clouds when that Mac trade was made. And I think you just expected your quarterback, and when you're drafting him at number 2, that's totally understandable. But Mitch was never that fucking guy at that point, ever. And
you threw away, if you really look at it, you make that trade for Mac and you're giving up first-round picks, and then the last first-round pick you had failed. And the second-round pick, it wasn't just Mitch. Shayne was supposed to be a staple of what was to come.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be the playmaker. So not only did you give up 2 picks for Mac, you basically, in effect, wasted 4 early-round picks between Mitch, Shayne, and the other 2, and got only Mac's performance out of it, which wasn't enough to take you where you wanted to go.
That's why it was so imperative. Looking at it, obviously, this is hindsight, but this is coming from my perspective at the time. Watson was the fucking layup to me. It really was. And because of the consistent performances in the biggest moments against
the most dominant team.
Yeah, the Darth Vaders of football, and they're the evil empires coming in, and you're fucking standing it against that. And to get that wrong, it'll haunt me for the rest of my life. It's like Shane's story about Randy Moss. Like, you just knew Randy Moss was going to be great. Why didn't you pick him? Why did you pass over Curtis Enos? You took, like, these things, football wise, always come back to me. Like, and what she said is exactly what Sam has said to me. There's a lot of shoe salesmen in the NFL, coaching and GMs, and fucking obviously it is the tragedy of how this new year started with Ted Phillips, George condescending to all of these fans and people around the world, as well as the head coach and the GM. He couldn't even fucking give you his contract. He couldn't answer the question, why, what are you going to be different when you passed on Mahomes and Watson? What's going to give you different? He couldn't even answer. You should hear him backpedal his helmet.
The one that was worse than that when I think it was Potash was like, you haven't won enough. And George is like, he's like, no, I'm referring to you and Ted. If you are actually head of football and responsible for what happens on the field, you guys have had and like George was like, but I answer to my mom. And it was
I answer to this 90, all these 90-year-olds.
I mean, that was the one that just got me. It was like, do you guys realize we can look on the internet and see how many games you've won? We can tell you what you've done. We have been into the playoffs 7 times since Ditka left, right? 7 times. There are teams that missed 2 to 6 of those years and have just as many playoff appearances as us. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's a lot of ridiculous. My dad was saying ridiculous. Claudio loves to say ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Real quick, Shane, did you have a final point? Or we're going to play Bear Up? This is a real quick moment. I want to make sure. I thought I was cutting you off, so I wanted to give you a shot.
No, I'm good. Good to go.
Okay. All right, we're gonna play Bear Up, Bear Down. So we have the little girl up.
You didn't even read the bottom of the band. You didn't even read the banner. It's been up there for 5 minutes.
I said this before. We're gonna do tweets first. Okay.
Sure.
Let's do tweets first then.
It's a well-oiled machine. Like
Bear Up, Bear Down, and end with tweets. There you go. But I'll do it. Let me get my poems ready. Claudio's even
look at him. Look at this guy.
He's catching up. I didn't know either, Claude. That'll give you time to upload the little girl with the bear up, bear down. I don't see it on there. Can you upload that? I'll delete one of these guys. It's not there. I deleted one overlay, so upload that. Claudio, you ready to do this or what, buddy? Here we go. Turn it up a little bit more because I can barely hear it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Brags in the stands better go on a diet, yeah. Or he won't be able to fit in the stands, yeah.
He's the smartest man. He's a mailman by day. By night, he sleeps with the mother of a mason. I can tell you right now, he has no love for corporate words like regression and or collaboration. He's the smartest man. And these are his dumbest tweets of the week. A little quick on the fade out, Claude. A little quick. Cars even raised his eyebrow a little bit.
We'll clean it up in post process. It'll be fine.
All right. So we'll hop right in here. We've been away from the tweets, but this drives me fucking crazy. This was a late submission. Adam Johns talking about Mike Singletary interviewed for for the Bears defensive coordinator position. And I am not, listen, if this is for an advisor role, maybe you could talk me in to a position coach. If they hire this guy as the defensive coordinator, I'm going to have a huge problem with it. I'm not a believer in that whatsoever. I mean, you couldn't have got a higher compliment for James Betcher than what Paige gave for him. Cars, I don't know if you got to hear that. She said that if Matt Nagy gets run out of here as head coach, she said, Betcher, I guarantee you, will be the next head coach. That's how good he is. Chicago is his dream job. This is what he wants. It's essentially why he sat out of the league for a year and was willing to do an advisory role, was because he's Chicago born and bred, huge Bears fan, wants Chicago.
And we never got to talk about that, Shane, how important that is. The love and passion you have for a franchise in a city, that goes inside of you.
Yeah.
Like if you don't tolerate, we say maniacal, that's where the seed is planted. Like I know Jerry from fucking Illuminati's on fucking West Hall Avenue, whatever the fuck, he cares. That little voice that in your fucking heart makes you better, makes you more maniacal and involved. And those things, when you love a team, granted, that's just like my Uncle Sam said, there's a 10% rule. I don't know if I've ever said it on this show. Every team has talent beyond the NFL is unbelievable. It's the coach that gets that extra 10% out of that team, that they are the reason why they win. That motivation, accountability, that passion and pride. I can hear coach yelling at me from across the field, and you're down in that 3 technique, knowing you got that fucking double team. Is Akeem Hicks going to stand up and take a play off? Or is Coach Ottochian, get your ass over there, get in? He hears, I got to fucking, he's going to be on my, that little thing matters. And this could be the difference in a game of inches. I said my little piece there when it comes to coaching.
Yeah, just to go back to that tweet, listen, to me, this is 100% not an information gathering event. This is pandering to the meatballs.
He said 150%.
Yeah,
I was surprised at that.
Pandering to the meatballs to take some of the focus off the dumpster fire that was the press conference to, and this is
like this kind of party.
Yeah, this is what we're.
They'll hire Richard Dent to replace Jay Rodgers to coach the defensive line, right?
Yeah.
Chris Zorich for the linebackers, and we're going to be in a good place to go.
Michael Stonebreaker will make an appearance.
Oh, man. Jeez.
Remember him?
Yeah.
And Cap Boza will coach the tight ends.
Yeah. So I'm not buying that.
I'm saying this for the record. I don't know Mike Singletary, the defensive coordinator. I just don't. The guy is a student of the game. He's a motivator. He has some of those things that check my boxes. But
they weren't interested in him last year when they had an opening.
What's that?
They weren't interested in him last year when they had an opening. Defensive coordinator. It's just yeah. That's what I'm saying.
This is to cover your ass. So you're putting it under that umbrella. I completely understand. I get it. I'm just saying for me, I'm not going to just sell Mike Singletary out because of his high school record there. Like that.
Singletary did not. Where was that?
49ers.
Yeah, Singletary did not hire Vic Fangio. Somebody put that in the chat. I'm not sure where that went. Yeah, right here. Matt, remember what Vic, do you remember Vic saying this? Do your research. That's not true.
Yeah,
Vic Fangio came with Harbaugh. They were together at Stanford.
Jim Harbaugh brought in Vic Fangio from Stanford, and everybody knows how I feel about Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, so that was the first one, and this one, and I'm going to defend our former quarterback at this point, Mitch Trubisky, because I saw this tweet today, and this is what Twitter and social media has become. CBS Sports put this out today. Mitchell Trubisky has more MVP, talking about the Nickelodeon valuable player awards, than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, John Elway. You get it. They're naming all of these, Hall of Fame quarterbacks. He has more MVPs than them combined. I mean, what a
cheap shot.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now sending that out for? I mean,
totally agree.
I don't expect much more from a corporation that employs Jason La Canfora as their insider. I mean, it says a lot, but I mean, you talk about absolutely classless. That's
totally
it.
Agree.
That is it right there. And
cheap shot, low blow. Like, we keep it 100 here. We don't fucking do that shit. That's just dumb.
I mean, if he was like Manziel, right, or it wasn't a good person and it had been a total douche, sure, but it's not like Mitch has ever done anything, off the field to make him be like, that guy's a douche.
Totally agree. So those are my dumbest tweets, Phil. Before we jump over here to the good ones. Phil is sleeping.
No, I was reading and making sure I got my poem correctly. Why? That's it? We're going to the next one?
Yeah, we're going to the next ones.
Oh, yeah. Chat the buzz.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like this show with no Claudio's face. Yeah.
How am I going to read this? That's a dark picture, Claudio. Oh, he's the smartest man. He don't take or pay for shit. He's got Prime, Netflix, and Hulu stole. God bless you, Mary Fucks. AKA you intro complaining YouTube fucking trolls. He's the smartest man. And this is his best tweet of the week, or tweets. That's a good fade.
Matt's still trying to, because I checked him on the. You can't change your fucking. You can't change your point.
Can't change the game. Can't play checkers after you play Connect 4.
Vic Fangio, remember him? Yep,
I love my boy Matt Cadro.
No, I do too. I'm just saying.
Singletary did not hire Fangio. That was the commentary. I got to be keeping it 100.
So Vic Fangio is a non-factor then. It doesn't.
Was that even the same D? Remember? Yeah, Patrick Willis was there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it doesn't. The players were there, and Mike Singletary's not drafting the fucking talent. Yeah,
I like that he threw Vernon Davis out of the fucking. Imagine Matt Nagy throwing Wims out of the fucking game.
Exactly.
He had a fucking Miller. I don't know what that is. I put it in the open so you could see it. That toss shoulder, like fuck, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. Send his ass to the fucking bench, Matt.
Phil, listen, somebody please check me on this, because this caught fire last night, and maybe it's been proven to be not real, but this basketball Zach sent out this tweet that said a friend of mine wrote to George McCaskey, and then he received a response, and this is the letter that he sent. Dear Mr. McCaskey, I grew up, lived most of my adult life in Illinois. I've been a lifelong Bears fan. I have purchased many jerseys and countless memorabilia over the years. I have attended dozens of games in that time. Put simply, if Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy return as GM and head coach for the 2021 season, I will not. And this was dated December 10th, so it was before the season was over. The day either Pace or Nagy is announced as returning is the day that I purchase a Justin Herbert jersey and a stupid bolt-up bumper sticker. I will place everything Bears that I don't burn in a box in my attic. One day I will review the contents of that box with my children and explain to them what happens when a franchise no longer sees itself as responsible to its fans. I will have you to blame. I encourage you to do your job. Clean house. Fire individuals that can make competent hires at GM and head coach to run a 21st century football organization.
Wow.
I mean, that's a wow moment. Well, he got a response,
a handwritten
note from
people are
George.
saying people are saying it's fake now on Twitter. Is that what they're saying?
There's a belief.
Yeah, there was a belief in it, but there was other people that 100%. I don't know. Somebody was even comparing, but this was this was the
what is that called? Cars, the fucking
the handwriting.
Yeah. This was the response allegedly from George. If this is, dear Mr. Gold, thank you for your letter. Letter
it does have a Chicago Bears card there.
We are disappointed to learn that you are ending your lifelong allegiance to the Bears. However, you've made it an excellent choice in deciding to root for the Chargers. They have an exciting and talented quarterback and a bright future. Perhaps in time we will give you or your children a reason to return to the Navy and Orange. In the meantime, bolt up. George McCaskey.
Now, he does say Navy and Orange a lot. He said it in an interview.
But he's the owner. You think he's not going to have monogrammed letterhead with his name
I don't know.
posted
I
all
can see
over?
George that. I can see.
Yeah, I
can
met
see
the guy.
George doing that. But hopefully it's fake. I mean, it's
that right there. Let's just pretend for a minute that it's real.
Well, if it's real, I got to give. Listen, I can be as condescending as anybody and twist the knife. I got to give him the bolt up at the end. I mean,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, I got to give him his credit there.
The fuck your couch moment was well done by George.
Yeah.
I agree. That was a nice twist into the like fuck you storm.
Right. But
I mean, do better, George.
As bad as it is, would it really surprise anybody? It wouldn't shock me.
Eddie said he had been like a multiple year season ticket holder. I think that would have been one thing, but the thing makes it possible, right? He's like, I've been to dozens of games. That probably doesn't hold any water to them.
I wrote George a letter a long time ago. I'll have to read it next week. I'm going to read it next. Well, we'll put it up because it's a long letter.
Yeah.
Wear
your hat.
He never fucking responded, Shane. Never responded to good old draft Dr. Phil here.
Brad Biggs got a hold of him.
Brad Biggs got a hold of him. Listen, Greg Braggs has his autograph. We can check it to see if it matches.
Bring on drunk handwriting expert Santa Braggs, and he can do the comparisons. It'll work out perfect.
I know his name's coming up too much tonight for you. That's okay. I love the chat.
Wait till Cars finds out our next news when we tell him off air. You think you're having a bad night now, Cars?
I gotta go. I got a thing at a place. Thanks, everybody. Claudio, take my spot.
Hey,
Claudio in a dark room. We're trying to figure out why his camera is dark. Can you see yourself, Claudio?
Yeah, I can see. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can see myself. Everything is normal on my end. Everything.
This is like that movie where the kid talks to his dad through the radio in time. We get the static in back. I feel like
you know what I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be in Nagy's brain.
Yeah, it's very nice. Like what? It's 1985. Go bet on the Bears. Like what are we gonna tell him that happened?
I've been thinking all show of a funny thing to say about me being in the dark.
He did it.
I didn't find anything, so it works out all right.
Shane actually laughed at your comment there.
I know.
Listen, can you get on your phone,
dude? I've been on my phone. I'm looking at Mac issues with the camera.
I'm saying, you just go on your phone and put yourself on the camera that way?
You gotta send me the link though.
There's a response to our new patron from Thomas, Phil, that talks about potentially.
That's real.
Wow.
Thomas is saying it's real. Thomas Boson.
He's a 36-year season ticket holder.
36 years, Thomas. We gotta
We're sorry.
We gotta have Thomas on this show next week. I would love to hear
He's a
what
new
he thought.
new patron.
New patron. That makes it even more. That
And
put him on the list.
And speaking of patrons, Phil, real quick, we are currently. We talked about we'll do something special for number 600. We are currently 12 away.
12 away,
588. Yeah, we're at 588.
560 this morning.
Yeah, I can hold it up here. I don't know if you guys can see
I
that.
can see it now.
588.
Set them straight at 588.
Yeah. So there's a chance maybe on the show if you guys go subscribe, TTNL or the tapeneverlies.com. Go over there.
And thetapeneverlies.com, Claudio. I don't know. He's probably, we have to do the show. There it is. Right there.
That was me, not Claude, by the way.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Claude.
No, but if you're number 600, you're gonna
be on any show you want.
Any show.
The whole show.
With number 499, Chris Sandlin.
I thought he was
Eric.
479.
No, he was 499. Sandlin. Even though he was 500, he says. But we don't have a screenshot of that. So the proof is in the pudding there. But Eric, the 500, and Chris, and the 600 will all come on the show. Yes, Claudio did turn out the lights.
Yeah.
We're going to put him in the background because he's humming. He's hummingbird. But we're going to, real quick, while you brought that up, let me just say this again about Patreon. Draft stuff, we're building shows and a schedule. Obviously, we're at the beginning of draft season, so that's going to be coming in the next few weeks. This Saturday, my father and I, X's with the O's, has been debuting these last couple of weeks. The positive responses and reviews are in, and it's very good. I'm glad people enjoy it. We're going to try to make it even better with Shayne giving us this electronic whiteboard so my dad cannot draw on his pad and try to hold it up. That was freaking hilarious. And then, yeah, we're going to break down. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow and see what player we're going to break down this Saturday, 11 a.m. We go live on the patron-only all-access channels. Shayne does a tremendous job always giving you the link. So if you are a patron or you're about to subscribe, you got to go into the posts, and in those posts are addresses that are private to you, the patron. And that's where you will see the live shows that pop up. And then they're posted and uploaded so you could see it later if you can't catch it live. But if you're looking for it live, you got to go into the posts, and that will direct you. It'll say Facebook, YouTube, Patron, all access. Those are the addresses. Am I correct on that, Shayne?
Yeah, you hit it out of the park.
Well,
we will, and I'll
I
bump
had
it
to
up.
get that up there. I had to make sure.
But let's
sure. And then also right here, superiorembroidery.net, TTNL, shop / home. I didn't know there was all these things, but there's the address. Get yourself some swag. I got a sweatshirt in the mail.
And
I didn't wear it tonight.
if you can't remember all of that, if you go to Google TTNL swag shop, and then you'll see it there.
Bring it there. Yeah. So I know Cherie. I know you saw Lemuel Stinson rocking his Tape Never Lies gear. If you are wearing,
Sandlin was wearing an old T-shirt on a Facebook post.
If you wear it, tag us in it. I want to put together next week some swag stuff. So,
and we're almost out of YouTube jail.
We're almost out of YouTube jail, so we'll
coming
be
up
able
on
to go
February
on our channel.
With 8,400 subscribers.
Are we up to 8,400 now?
Yeah, we're
wow, look at that. So listen, he's watching it right now. Brandon, my boy, on the All Access. I want to shout out patron Andrew Brown, without a shout out segment, having a TTNL baby before you, Shayne.
We had nothing to do with it. He did all the work. Yeah,
Gotta shout out.
We
Gotta
sent him
shout out.
directions on the counterclockwise swirl, and it worked like a champ for him.
And congratulations to you and your wife, adding to your family, your beautiful family. This is all about family. Once you're 100 crew, you are for life. We love you guys, honestly. That's all the business. Obviously, this show becomes a podcast. If you don't know that, you can always listen to the show. We almost take it for granted sometimes and forget. That's why I'm always getting on these guys to explain what's going on with all the video stuff. So if you're listening live, you really got to get over to the YouTube channel to check out the open so you could see the visuals of what I put together about heading into this 2021 season. I think it's definitely worth the time and effort. If you don't know, now you know. So anyway, next up, our final segment tonight, because Claudio legitimately cut himself out. And he can't even get on the show because of where he's at. It's everybody's favorite. And what we're going to do, Cars, is we're going to do a seasonal bear up, bear down. And we'll let the chat room decide who goes first. I'll see who the first person responds, or Claudio, and then we'll set the order like that, Claudio. So whoever says Shayne or Phil or Cars, be the first one to do bear down. That'll make it fair.
Gotcha. Cars, there it is. Yep.
Cars will go first.
Cars is first.
Phil Ottochian, Shayne Marsaw, the Tape Never Lies Network.
A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up. This week, Draft Dr. Phil and Shayne Marsaw, the smartest man. Bear ups and bear downs of the week.
Oh yeah, bear up, bear down. I guess Claudio's in the game. Dark, in a dark room.
I got him.
Okay. Only thing I'm gonna do is mute you until it's your turn, because I don't know if the audience can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
It's like a windstorm.
Yeah, all right.
It's like, so I'm just gonna mute you. There you go. You unmute when you want. There you go. You're a producer now. So okay, Cars. We're gonna put you here. Shayne, am I next or you? It's totally up to you. This is bear down.
Doesn't matter to me.
All right, Claudio, do you want to be next or do you want me?
I think he's trying to get on his.
Well, I'll be
currently.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be third. So
I'll go second.
Yeah.
Shayne, that means you'll get the number 1 seed on the round as we snake around for bear up. Cars, what up, homeboy?
What's going on?
Glad you're back. How you feeling tonight? Good? You feel good about this selection you're about to pick?
I feel amazing that a guy we gave a massive extension to is going to be my bear down. So that man, we're coming in strong. Eddie Jackson was my biggest disappointment. I think, no turnovers. He talked a big game. He made such a point of sitting down saying, I didn't get any targets. Teams are afraid of me. And then as the season progressed, it looked like that was a big mistake for them, that they should have gone right at him all game. So I think some of that was utilization, but you can't be non-impactful in the pickoff game when you are one of the worst tacklers I've ever seen in the defensive backfield. So Eddie Jackson is my 2020 bear down.
Totally get it, man. That was my number 1 player choice. That he's got to tackle better. You're making this kind of plays. I don't know the aggressiveness up front, if that hinders he's got to be more physical if you're making that kind of money, making business decisions. Someone sent me Brad Biggs' article, and it was like some funny word talking about Eddie Jackson's inability to make tackles. Like, we're fucking trying to patty cake with these guys. Like, call them out. Call them the fuck out. Be better. This is the Charter franchise. Oh, great choice. Shane, you want to, or is there nothing else to be said in regards to?
No, he would have been my guy that I would have taken. I mean, I've been railroading him. Oh, look at who's here.
Uh-oh.
There he is.
There we go.
There he is.
Let me see if I get this right. Am I straight? There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't want this to be a Zapruder film or that
You
weird
hold
movie.
it and can you pee and talk?
What's up?
Yeah, like shaking it.
Hey, cut it out. What are you talking about?
You must have.
Cut it out.
You must have been in the
What the
top of
fuck?
your fucking class. That's my favorite part.
Not so.
Audio got his GED. He didn't graduate with his class.
My GED, the good enough diploma.
You're on fire tonight.
Oh boy, it's good to be
Smokey
on.
the Bear.
What's up?
Smokey the Bear. Some people are calling you that. Smoke weed every day. Listen, my bear down. I'm serious now. Matt motherfucking Nagy. I'm telling you, I watched this team. I look back on this season, and I got to go against the grain here. Easy choices could have been Leno and Bars and other players. Eddie Jackson was a layup too. Totally agree. But this coach and his philosophy in how he treated Mitch Trubisky, Rex Ryan, I thought, as I put in the open, said it really. Your job as a head coach is to take those bullets, but also to do what's best for your quarterback that you have there. So you got to go to this stuff, and you got to run the football, and you got to hold people accountable, and you got to do the things necessary for your football team to win. There's only so many fingers that you could point at offensive line coaches and firing and doing all this stuff until it's about you. And all of a sudden, be shoe has become a mantra for a lot of fans out there. And that comes from this network, and we're proud of that shit. And for me, this guy, he's the reason you're 8-8. That Detroit Lions game, when you lose that game, that's strictly on the head coach and what he decided to do. There's so much that I could say, and everybody knows. But for me, this season is about – last season was about regression. Matt, remember Pace coming out? This season's about regression. I could pull up the audio when Claudio's talking. I'll pull it up for you so you can hear it. So it's on the podcast. But the reality is he didn't go forward. He didn't go forward. There's no understanding of an identity still. And that's why, Matt Nagy, you are my bear down of 2020. 2020. Claudio, the barber.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody disagree? I mean,
no, a lot of people are agreeing with you. Nagy sucks. Pretty much.
There you go.
So, this is tough. I can't do two, obviously, right? It's against the rules.
It's ridiculous.
Can't happen.
Can you
All
say
right.
ridiculous?
Ridiculous. I'm gonna go with Anthony Miller. I mean, this dude at the start of the season was like making big catches, and everybody's all on his shit. But the rest of the season, he just made drops after drops, stupid plays, taking plays off, not blocking. Just, you know, I wish I had all the times I was watching a game with Phil. I wish I had all the fucking swears that Anthony Miller he had. Oh, it was awesome. But I mean, but at the end, the last game against the Saints, the punk fucking move, punching this dude. I don't care if he's an asshole. You know, that dude does some dirty shit in other games, but you just can't do that shit. Wims did it. You saw what happened, and you still fucking do it. That shows no class, no maturity. So Fuck him. He's my bear down.
Nice.
This season was about regression.
There you go.
You could do a fun game where you take quotes from each of the last 2 press conferences and have people guess whether that was 2019 or 2020.
Let's do that.
That was my other bear down.
We're gonna do a
Bears media.
We're gonna do a patron trivia. That is a brilliant idea, Cars. And we will play audio and we'll bring it like a Final Four. We'll bring them up. If they get it right, they move on. And then the winner will get a fucking Tape Never Lies Network hoodie or something. We'll give them something for winning the trivia, the off season. I will figure it out. But this is how we work. There's no script. Good choice. Anthony Miller, I got to say this. My 2 cents on him. To put yourself above everybody else in that moment is one thing, right? But to do it on the tape all those weeks where I'm pointing it out and he sees Cole Kmet making that catch and he's like walking in the middle of the fucking game. Go back and watch our network show you this, and it never is addressed with him and his playing time. And it wasn't till late in the season that you saw Darnell Mooney being used more so over him.
Yes.
But it's a travesty that kid can get away. I've been on teams where a fucking kid is like that. I'm a player and the coach doesn't do anything about it. And it just sours everybody. It's like the nose guard is pissed off. Like, if he's not going to address that, you know what I'm saying? And really good point. That's what I had to say about Anthony Miller. Selfish football player. Shayne, smartest man.
Yeah, well, Phil took a coach, so I'm going to take one too. That's how I'm going to roll.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go the defensive coordinator, Chuck Pagano. He comes to every fight with a war chest that's full of money that's been spent on his side of the ball. He's got all the bullets in the chamber each and every week. Yes, there was guys that were hurt, nicked up, but at the same time, he's got all of the talent on his side of the ball, and he restricted it. He put a governor on that. Was it a mandate from the head coach? I don't know. I mean, come on. There's things to counterbalance that. I mean, like you said, Phil, when you see Akeem Hicks dropping into coverage, I mean, what planet does where is that ever going to? Yeah, exactly. It's just, come on, man. You have everything at your disposal, and we're going to get our guys going this way. And it was all talk. And I understand if you can win.
You did hear Paige.
Yeah.
I'm going to spell this out. Paige said Cars didn't hear it. So I asked her the question, Cars. I go, do you think Matt Nagy was hindering Pagano from being the aggressive play caller? And she didn't want to call it out. So she's very smart. She said, let me put it this way. If Coach, I just drew a blank on the Tampa coach. Coach
Arians.
If Coach Arians was the head coach of the Bears, Chuck Pagano would be calling a different type of defense. So that tells you that Matt Nagy has his hands on the defense. Not to take away from Shayne's bear down. I'm just saying that's on Chuck too, because you have to have pride. Maybe he did. Maybe I'm fucking retiring because I don't want to work with this guy. He's hindering what I want to do. Maybe that's it. And he's like that. But it looked like I get what you're saying.
The thing where I'm not really going to buy into that he was completely restricted by Nagy. I mean, it was pretty fucking clear that this team really had 2 head coaches, and that was the benefit of them hiring Chuck Pagano, that Matt Nagy was really essentially going to be hands off. Chuck, we're going to get you to come here because listen, this is me here. This is you there. So it's the Chicago Bear way to try to speak things into existence, or they'll say something and do the exact opposite because, that's that 1947 train of thought that these guys, we're going to fool everybody just by lying to them, and they're going to all fall for it. So you can't have all of that talent on your team. And I mean, even some of I went out and gave Trevis Gibson my bear up the one week because in his limited time, he went out and looked the part, like he was making some fucking progress. They fucking didn't dress him in the playoff game on a fucking fast track
very next week
with an immobile quarterback that has, depleted arm strength, and they fucking sat him down. I mean, that's where
Voters in there, Shane.
It's crazy. So Chuck
he always
Pagano,
was such a difference maker, though. That James Fodders.
Yeah, yeah. But Chuck Pagano, you are my bear down.
There's a multitude of factors. The word that comes to my mind this season is regression.
And keeping it real, I would have taken I originally was going to take Anthony Miller, but Claude made me
look at that
switch around because I had high hopes for Anthony Miller. He ended 2019 on a hot streak, was consistent. He came back in week 1 in Detroit, if you remember, put up some good numbers, had the game-winning touchdown. He had another one in Atlanta. I thought maybe, get a little change up there on the offense, but Anthony Miller's his worst enemy is between his ears. And he talks like he's T.O., and he's not. I mean, listen, anything that you want to think about Anthony Miller was said by the owner of this franchise in his conference I forget if it was with Waddle and Sylvie or with the other guys that did the interview.
Waddle.
When your owner said, he essentially waved off everything with Javon Wims.
He's
not worried about that. I'm more disappointed in Anthony because he was told, listen, Mooney is out. We need you. These guys are banged up, all of this. And he goes, and he still did it. That to me, as soon as they are able, he's fucking gone or flipped for a 6th round that might become a 5th round draft pick. And the sad part about that is sometimes those can be epic wake-up calls. And Anthony Miller is talented. He's just got to figure it out mentally.
He's got to put the time in.
But after he does that, Nagy on the sidelines being a fucking friend, not a coach, trying to console him. He should be like, get the fuck out of my face.
Well, you don't know what he was saying. You don't know what he was saying. He could have been.
He looked like he was consoling him to me.
Yeah, but I mean,
could have been that stern. I'm consoling my kid when he's flipping out and fucking wouldn't tap. I'm pinching his ass. Don't you?
I've done that with my kid on the back.
I don't know, Phil, dude. In the Pee Wee game, bro, you put Devin on the sideline because he fucked up.
Yeah,
you're like, get out of here.
I've done that with my son in basketball.
I definitely hold everybody accountable.
He does something that you're not happy with, and there's a bunch of people in the gym watching, and you go up and you put your arm around him, but just like Phil said, it's a little bit more physical, and you're holding back a little tighter than you do, and you're pushing your nose into the side of it, right?
Oh my God, I did that the other day, but that's for next week's show. This is a good comment from James. Wasn't there a comparison to Antonio Brown? And I think they were right, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I think
love that
play style. Who knows?
That's a great comp. So. Yeah. Let's go back around. I had something to say, but I forgot. So let's go back around.
That's awesome.
I love that. The fingers. She's from Canada.
Yeah.
My boy Claudio. And his wife. Another Claudio. I think there's 3 Claudios that love this show.
In the whole world. 3.
And that love this show. I don't know about the world.
That feels too many.
Bear up.
Yeah, if you go back to our beginning shows, I think we may have done one where we talked about somebody that was really going to have to take that next step. And this guy struggled with the mental part of the game. I think was struggling with some life choices, trying to figure out exactly what he wanted to be and what he wanted to do. And I saw big strides in this guy this year. I think he got cheated out of a Pro Bowl berth. I think he got cheated out of an All-Pro selection. Right. That's how good he is. And he's still one of the youngest players on the entire roster because he was so young when he came out at 20 years old. But Roquan Smith, he did exactly what I wanted to see from him. He is a special, special player. And I think he can be even more effective when you have a defensive coordinator in there. That's why it ties into my bear down. I think he can be even more effective, Phil, because I talked about it before Cars got on there. He can be one of the most effective blitzers in the league with his combination of speed and athleticism and just, that entire package.
Yep.
I think confidence plays a big role in Roquan's game. I think he started to feel like Georgia Roquan a little bit more this year. Mm-hmm. Danny Trevathan obviously is going the other way. Maybe if he gets healed up a little bit, but I think this offseason is going to be huge for Roquan. Get that elbow back to where it is, and I think you may even see him take more of a vocal leadership role, because I think he's going to be used different next year and used more in a fitting way that suits his style of play that he likes a lot more. And listen, it's going to be a big, big year for Roquan, because if he blows up even more next year, listen, you have your fifth year option with this guy, and this kid's going to get paid. And he's going to be a dude that resets the market for the inside linebacker position. That's just the way that it is. That's the way that this market works. And he's not a guy, unless I would have zero issue if he was the wild card to get a Deshaun Watson trade done with draft picks. I'd help Roquan pack his bags. Yep. But it doesn't mean that I don't respect what he does on the field. But I think he's taken that step, and he's not done yet. That's the best part. I mean, I think he's got 2 or 3 more steps to make.
I think you hit it on the head. He got screwed out of the All-Pro. To me, it wasn't even close. And the numbers, this is where they matter, match the tape. That's what matters. And that's the reality.
17 tackles for a loss or something like that.
God.
I mean,
it was double everybody for TFLs.
Might have been triple. Jesus,
well, he's double over the closest one. He was doubled. Then he's got 4 interceptions, and he's got 6-7 sacks, whatever it was. He had 2 sacks in a game. The reality is,
where does he fit in a 4-3 scheme? You can play him forever. Yeah,
that's the reality of where
he transcends schemes, and that's what special players do.
The instincts are, the game is slowing down for him, so the instincts are now showing why he's so good.
You guys right here, Hector. You guys think he has potential?
That. Hold on, Claude.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Real quick, Phil.
Then you incorporate the twitchiness of Roquan Smith. That's the fucking thing that you can't. There's no teaching twitch. Not the app. There's no teaching that. You can do plyos and jump rope and try to get your muscles to twitch like that. But he's got what God gave him. So if you combine toughness, instincts, and speed with that twitch, that's why you got something special. You guys think Roquan? Go ahead, Claude.
No, I was just going to say, Hector asked a question here. Does he think he have the potential to be as good or better than Urlacher?
It's tough. I mean, it's different.
I
think
styles.
Yeah. Well,
Urlacher was more transformative of what that role. I mean, he was asked to do everything.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I don't like who he's become, but he was tremendous.
That cover 2 scheme, I mean,
built for him.
But at the same time, when he was couple of years without that, he was getting you 8.5 sacks.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
my
middle
father
linebacker.
used to say, "Why don't you just put him on the edge sometimes
Yeah.
and let him rush off the edge?" You know what kind of problems he would cause? He was 6'4".
Yeah, his sideline
sideline
to sideline speed was ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Yeah, if you go
Remember
back
when
and
he picked up that fumble, it just took off.
Gone.
in Atlanta,
Gone in Atlanta. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
If you go back and watch some, 2000, 2001 Brian Urlacher, you forget how ridiculous he was. I mean, when Claude said that, the sideline to sideline, but that cover 2 scheme came in. I mean, you're talking about a middle linebacker. Remember the game where Josh Woods had to come in and he couldn't get enough depth in the end zone on an 8-yard touchdown pass. Brian Urlacher was going 42 yards downfield.
Oh my god,
covering guys. And
think about that, like Hardy Nickerson before was believed to be the ideal middle linebacker in a cover 2, and Lovey, to his credit, completely changed the responsibilities of that because of what Urlacher could do.
Yeah,
He's transcendent. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's why I fought for him, as well as Shane and you, for first ballot. He was, it's like Ray Lewis and him. If I'm a coach, that's a hard choice. It depends on what your philosophy is because of what they both bring. Urlacher was a freak, just like my boy Ivan Vargas is saying. What's up, Ivan? He was totally a freak. But anyway, great choice. Roquan Smith is at that point. So it's going to be interesting to see who they hire as the defensive coordinator. After Paige spoke tonight, she really gave a letter or a video of recommendation. You're going to want to see that. If you didn't see the interview with Paige and the Open tonight, you're going to want to go back and watch these shows, and Shane will make sure it's uploaded on our channel that's soon to return. We'll be live there. We don't have to do this shit anymore. But anyway, Claudio, I think everybody knows where.
No, listen, I'm going to surprise everybody. I'm going to go with a guy we've talked about. I've talked about. We all talked about a lot. Charles Lent. No, I'm just joking.
It's good.
No, listen. Of course, I got to go with my boy, Mooney. I mean, come on. This kid was a nobody. Nobody really gave this kid a chance. Nobody was like, he might get a few plays. But I don't know if it was week 1 or week 2 when he had a good game. And his press conference, he was just so confident and humble, but confident. And this kid just every week brings it. If everybody had his heart and his will, his competitiveness, we would still be in the playoffs. So, my man Mooney, dude, I bought swag. I don't have it on, but
he went for the hat.
That hat, I got that hat. Yeah, I can't pay $40-something bucks for the hoodie yet.
Only you and Cars are wearing Bears gear tonight. Look at that. Me and Shane are still revolting. In fact, I saw I think it was Alexander and Ciro Morales and Bear Truths, maybe John. He was about to cancel his subscription when he saw you say Charles Leno. Now he's back. Thank you. Go over to the swag shop. Get yourself some TTNL swag, T-shirts, hoodies, hats. They got everything over there. Bears Hour Live, Keepin It 100, the tape, Draft Doctor fills the tape, whatever it is, the Smartest Man T-shirts. Are they out yet, Shane?
I don't think so. Alex is
Alex is slipping.
Alex is making me wait, I guess.
Come on, Alex. And I'm going to blame $4.99 because he should be all over that and taking care of his boy because he's always busting my balls for whatever reason. I don't know what I did to him. I think I love him and his wife more than she loves me. She's doing a great job, Heather. Keep it up. Go over there, get your swag. Support the TTNL, not the fucking Bears. Claudio, I got to say this about Darnell Mooney. Kid surprised me. Kid surprises the essence of football. He is
Phil, stay right there real quick. I want to butt in for once. I think that affected early on negotiations with Allen Robinson because I think that the Bears thought Anthony Miller was going to take the next step.
Really?
Darnell Mooney started to come up. That's the way these guys think.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I really think
for Hicks. Yeah, absolutely.
I think 100% that had an effect early on. I do.
That's a good point.
You can start talking again.
I honestly, the kid is his body is not what you would think it is to be successful in the NFL. The way lean, quick, where's the life in that? How is he going to be? He was the toughest fucking player.
They'll go back early on.
Montgomery.
I called him a more physical Deshaun Jackson, and I think that's.
I was going to say Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
Marvin reminds me of Marvin.
I think he's more physical than Marvin Harrison.
Yes,
he is.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. And the sky's the limit because once he perfects, because he's not. Listen, my father and I broke down on X's with the O's one of his routes. And it was the one where Mitch overthrows him 15 and he's jumping in the air and he gets pushed out of bounds. And
that was Nagy's fault.
Yeah.
Bad play design.
But the route is absolutely a veteran route from a fucking rookie. My father and I were like, wow, look at this kid run the route. He ran off the defensive back, came back in a big game against the Packers, and he's giving your quarterback an open comeback route, and it's not there. It's high. So that's just the scratching the surface of where this kid's going to be. Great choice. Anybody else want to talk? Mooney? Everyone's good? I like this kid coming back. If you are going to buy a jersey, you would buy his jersey or Roquan Smith so far. You guys are hitting it out of the park. My guy with conviction here. No one took my guy, thankfully.
Santos.
Not Cairo Santos. I'm never going to go for a kicker here. My guy is the guy that I handpicked in the draft as the number one running back in that draft. This football player,
Jamal Williams,
has not fucking, moved away from that. He is the quintessential showcase of what tape tells you. He is what he was at Iowa State. He is a difference maker. He's a battler. He's a fucking bowling ball thug that doesn't fucking quit on one fucking play. He is the identity. And this head coach with his fucking hand and face in the playbook and all the fucking corporate words, regression, collaboration, synergy, all that bullshit. It should be Montgomery. That's your fucking word. Montgomery. That's where you fucking build it. This kid is what I want my son to be. He is everything I could ever, a scout's dream, a coach's dream at running back. Fuck Peter Bukowski. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We don't have an offensive line that's number one in the league. We don't have a quarterback that's a fucking sure first ballot Hall of Famer that could go out in the field down 21 and bring you back in a quarter. We don't got that. We got a kid that fucking battles for every fucking scratch of grass at Soldier Field or wherever he's playing. And every time I popped on the tape, I saw that. And it makes me fucking so agitated that he's misused completely. Like, there should never be a Cordero Patterson sighting after a fucking 70-yard gain. Get him back out there, unless he's tired and tapping his head, coach, I need a break. That's the only time. You never take Walter Payton off the fucking field. You don't do it with this kick and catch. He can block. So only one area that he needs to be the better at is fucking taking on those backers and knowing where they're coming from. That's his one area that he could improve on. If we're keeping it 100, everything else, he's unbelievable. The balance, cars, the balance in contact, it's incredible. It's incredible. And the footwork, I always say, as you watch on the tape never lies. It's like Pele, however you say it.
Pele.
The footwork that Pele had was unreal with a fucking ball to control it and be able to watch David Montgomery's footwork. It's like he's had to develop that skill because it's even better than it was at Iowa State. David Montgomery, I'm giving you love on the first show of 2021. Technically, you are my bear up completely.
Yeah, he's unreal. Tough as nails, too. I mean, when he hyperextended that knee, we all thought he was out. Yeah, like, that's it. He's done.
I
we'll
thought
see him next year.
He
fucking comes back in that game, and it's like nothing happened.
Comes back in the game.
It's crazy.
Oh, my God. What a great football player. People are spoiled. Remember certain people? We won't mention names. He just runs into the crowd. He's not a good back. Where are they? They left. Cars. You have anything you want to add on Montgomery?
No, I mean, you guys had the three names that make the most sense, right? Of everybody, you could have gone really in any order, and I don't think it would have been incorrect. You know, if your offensive MVP was Monty, your defensive MVP was Roquan, right? There's no doubt in my mind about that. So it's sad. It's made my job a lot harder, and so I appreciate that. And
I'm interested.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. This show is called Keepin It 100, right? And to be honest, there shouldn't be anybody other than those three that are bear ups this season. There's no one else that, to me, really deserves it. Like, there were flashes here and there from guys. A-Rob was too inconsistent for me for what he wants. You know, Mac was, too up and down for some of the stuff that I was looking for. Outside of those three, I can't come up with a single name that I think is deserving of a bear up for the season. And so because of that, I have no one. I'm going through. There's no one that deserves it.
Didn't even go Santos?
H.L. Priest has a name too. I was thinking of this guy. You don't want to give any love to Bilal Nichols?
It's not that I don't, but like, this was a team that underperformed every step along the way. And the three guys that you named are the ones that I could count on to show up every week. And
I'm surprised you didn't go Mac. I mean, PFF gave him second best linebacker in the league.
He's still really good. But
I would have went Mac too. Nichols or Mac and Santos, I feel like, deserve some.
They're kind of middle of the road seasons for me, right? Like,
your choice. The fans chose you to go first.
So I can't do it.
Fair here.
I can't do it. I can't. There's no one deserving of it, and I'm not going to put my name on all of it.
I don't know.
How about here's one for the 100 crew. There you go.
The 100 crew was the bear up for you. That's how you make.
I mean, my name was called before yours and Shayne's. I'm obviously way more popular than you two, so I don't even need to shout them out because they know how much I love and care.
Great point.
You could have gave your bear up for the season to Aldo. He made this possible.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's a very.
I thought that was the guy that shall not be named.
No, I think that's a fantastic call. I think no one has been more important to the Keepin It 100s. No, I mean, he would sadly be better than anything else. Thank you for taking my face off the screen. No one needs to see that.
There you go. Rick Riggs. Cars is the man. Guys, it's been an incredible show. Shayne's favorite part of the show. Shout outs. I owe my boy Cool Kennedy apology. I've got to record my lyrics for this shout out song that he's produced. I haven't had a chance. I'm getting it done next week. It'll be fucking ready. So I don't know who this guy is, Claude, but we'll have to fucking mute him. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh my God. You looking at the same one I'm looking at?
Yeah, I'm like, where did this come from? This came crazy. But
I didn't see what you're.
It's a fun show. Again, this weekend, Saturday, 11 o'clock. If you're a patron, it'll be X's with the O's. If you know your patronage roll call, always throw it up there. We're going to throw you up on the screen. Shayne's always going to shout all of you out. Guys, don't hesitate to DM me. If you have anything, wants to go on the show, you have ideas. If you could produce or you can make videos and be a part of that, reach out to me and Shayne. If you want to, if you're an intern, if you're in college and you're learning about broadcasting, we're always about helping people and giving people a shot here to help out. That's my little PSA, if you will. Cars' number one fan right here. The Spencer Strong segment, other known as the shout out segment, always ends our shows. Audio's got the beat. I'm feeling better now that I have some music. Look at that.
Can you tell us about your rap career, Phil?
Yeah, next show. Next show.
Is that good? You want up or down or what?
That's good.
That's perfect.
Perfect. Nice. We always start this off with our boy, the nerd. The nerd alert. I'll just be putting patron numbers up here. 24, Cherie. Go ahead, Cars. Do you have anyone to shout out?
Specifically, no. But this has been, you guys have made a season that has been horrible, painful, demoralizing, but collaborative, I think is really the way we want to end this. So no, thanks everybody. This has saved my sanity in so many ways.
Well played. Well played. You are a smart man. Claudio, the barber, are you taking walk-in haircuts now, or is it just...
No, the state won't let me, man.
They won't
Guidelines are still... So just appointment, but it's all right. I'm busy. The drive-thru is working great. So... so I got to shout out. You already said Andrew Brown about having a kid. I want to shout him out. And he makes some big, healthy boys. So maybe we got some offensive linemen coming from him. 9 pounds, and his other boy was 10 pounds. So that's, shout out to them.
Wow.
Gary Williams.
Gary.
Yes.
Gary might be coming up to Connecticut.
I know. He messaged me. He's in Baltimore.
He's going to bring us some cigars. Claudia, I already told him for you that we're going to bring him to Modern Pizza.
Yeah, that's what I said to him.
We're going to bring him to Modern.
Show him what real pizza is.
We're going to show him what real pizza is about.
And I'll remember that I went with him.
Pissed off right here. I'm just putting it up there for Shayne to get
Facebook
mad.
User. Do we still have it in the...
No, we don't. So
do we get rid of it? Yeah. Facebook user number 550. Since you're a patron, head over to StreamYard.com/Facebook and accept so we can see your name. Who is number 550?
That's what we need to know, because we just see you as Facebook user.
That's right.
Shame, I am in on Bestard after learning more about him. Paige's assessment in the background, being a Chicago native, knowing what defense means to us Bear fans, he gets it. Would love to see more of Paige. Very high football IQ. Yes, that's what we do.
Just change your outlook on what defense means to us. We need
to score more.
Yes, exactly. We have to get away from that. Yes, defense is fun, but listen, when your team can fucking score points on a consistent basis,
exactly.
Paige said it perfectly. It's not your father's football, and I understand you still have to run the football and you still have to play defense, but you're never going to be where you want to be if you cannot score points.
Look at the
NFL.
4 teams that are left right now.
Look at the quarterbacks.
Enough said.
Exactly. Well, Shayne or Claudia, you have any more?
I had a couple more. Kevin Winston and Logan Frost popped out in the comments, so I want to shout you out.
Well,
that's it.
That's good.
And my wife and my girls, even though they're mad at me.
They're mad at you for what?
I took one of my daughter's phone away. You know how that is.
God.
I know, I'm horrible.
Uh-oh. Was it
So
real
mean.
serious?
Well, unlike Nagy, there's actually consequences for shit you do.
Did you collaborate with your wife on that decision?
Tell us how you approached her and how you did it, Claude.
Oh, well.
Walk right into
Yeah,
it.
I couldn't. I was gonna say I was gonna plead the fifth anyways because I can get in trouble for what I did. No, she'll get it back. She just, that attitude sometimes.
No, not teenage girls, right?
No, not a 14-year-old teenage girl.
Don't say anything. You're giving me nightmares about what lies ahead.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah. Shayne too. Teenage girls are very different.
Yeah. We'll get.
We could do a whole show on that.
Oh my
Let's get through June 1st.
Yeah, we'll do. Our next show is going to be parenting tips from before.
We're gonna have a TTNL parenting tape break.
I had to send Phil a text yesterday before I went to the doctor's appointment for the baby, and I'm like, bro, if you don't hear back from me in a while, that means somebody murdered me. Just so you know.
Exactly. That's a true story. True story. I'm glad I have boys too, but I have 2 girls. I love them. Teenage girls are a lot of drama. Shayne, do you have any shout outs you want to say?
Just gonna shout out our TTNL network crew. I mean, everybody here, everybody behind the scenes again. It's everybody matters, and this is a big undertaking, Phil. We didn't really know where it was going to go. I think we've exceeded even our high expectations. People love what we do. We love what we do. And I think that shows in the product that we put out each and every week. There's going to be bigger and better things coming down the pipeline. We're going to break some news to cars here, probably in the post show, or does he have any cups that he can throw, any glassware or anything like that? We'll see, but potentially. I'm kidding.
I'm terrified now.
But maybe we'll record the post show banter and post it on Patreon. Maybe, probably not.
That'd be an extra fee for.
Yeah. I already had Carr's take on Greg Braggs tonight.
That's right, and I already have the clip in tow. So
he's probably watching. Is Purdue playing tonight? That's why he's not in the chat. Or
yeah, I got a text like, who's calling you fat? Me. But no, we have a great team here, Phil. You know that. I mean, it's working with Shy City. The TTNL network crew. I mean, everybody in their own way. It's been a great season. It seems like a whirlwind. I look back to September 1st. Our first show was called Just the Tip. That was a preview show. It seems like so long ago. We got launched from where we came from on my birthday, July 25th, 2020, and totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Gareth, he did it. He listened to you.
There you go, Gareth.
Gareth.
It only took him.
I like his last name, Tanswell. He sounds like an inside backer.
Perfect.
Tanswell. He tans well, I'll tell you that. He goes to the
Polish, and I do not tan well. That is just not possible.
But
sorry,
just shout out to everybody there, that helps us do what we do, Phil. And there's a lot more in store that I think you guys are really, really going to love. And if you're not subscribed to our Patreon channel, like I said, it's $7 and try it out for 30 days. And if you decide that you don't like it, you're out $7 and it's, no harm, no foul. But got the NFL offseason coming up, free agency, NFL draft, cars. You know how we are. what are our text messages and DMs to each other like in the off season? It's
at some point we've drafted every draft eligible player and somehow traded for every pick. Yep, for sure.
You know how many text messages I've sent cards over the years? I'm like, bro, it's like 17 days until the draft. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous. I think we're 99 days as of today.
99.
Trevis Gibson days over.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't say Gaines Adams, so that's good.
Number
hey,
three.
Real quick, Phil.
Yes.
Fill him in. What did he miss?
I can't.
Everything.
You're gonna have
Fill
to
him
go watch the show later.
Charles Leno won Bear Player of the Year for us.
Yeah.
Unanimously.
Picture that with a Kodak.
Phil, who's our guest next week? Real quick.
Chris Emma.
Is he on Brags in the stands first, or is he just coming with us?
You're gonna do their show? No, you gotta do mine. Come on.
I got some breaking news too, Phil. Dickerson is a no. All of a sudden, I guess he doesn't want to come on.
Who?
The
Jeff
media
Dickerson.
guy.
Jeff Dickerson told Claudio no.
I have a buddy that worked at ESPN and knows him, and he said he was gonna. But come on, whatever.
Oh well,
we can do. But my boy Mike, the kid that worked at ESPN, he knows his shit. He'll come on. So there you go. Breaking news.
Bring Mike. Jeff Dickerson back.
I think my breaking news is still the best. So that's gonna be a win for me.
Yes.
I heard you have a lot more breaking news, but Shane told me.
Yes.
I will keep it in my pocket.
Oh yeah.
I'm good at secrets. Anyway, it's been a great, like I said, I wanted to shout out the network just to piggyback off Shane to see where we've come in such a short time when so many people were against us, saying that it wouldn't be. To see where it is the ultimate slapping of the backboard when you're 5'7".
You ain't Netflix. We're TTNL, motherfucker.
I'll just say this, where we started to where we are going, obviously this isn't done. We're at the 50. We're going to just keep driving. That's how we rock and roll. And I can't even express the ideas. And I'm just always trying to think out of the box. Shane tells me, don't worry so much about things, but I can't help it. I got to do the open. I got to be creative and do like that guy said. I got to write a Be Shoe song. I think it was Bear Truth 9. Of course, I'm going to write a Be Shoe song rather for this off season. All that stuff. We're going to have fun. We're going to analyze it. I got to thank Paige Dimakos. Shout her out for coming on the show and talking and following the rules. Like every guest we've had has came in here and tried to top the next guest. And fans have said it. She was the best. He's the best. He was the best. She was the whatever.
Yeah.
The reality is fans understand what this show is about. If Jeff Dickerson's too big of a fucking pussy to come on the show, that's on him.
Definitely not coming on me.
And
that's
that door has been.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
Sources close to one Matt Carsonson report today that Greg Braggs is in fact not his boy.
I like that Cars gets the whole screen, and I'm looking at him down here, and he's like, I don't want to see myself.
I don't.
He starts looking down at his desk.
Awful. It's absolutely awful. I don't
Find
want
your number by DMing Shane in the patron app.
Thomas is brand new. I might be able to do this in real time if Phil can extend the show.
I can extend it by sending.
I don't know if he can ever.
I will extend it by sending my
I don't know
shout
if
out.
it's possible.
I want to shout out my wife. She's the one that said, you got to do fucking Patreon. You work too hard. You and Shayne are going to come out better because of this. When I was down in the dumps, she was fucking right. That's keeping it 100. Jeff Dickerson, don't be a fucking pussy. Come on. Jesus Christ.
Tom, you are number 582.
582. 5.
We're still waiting for that elusive 600.
Wendell Davis, 82. That was my favorite 82. Wendell Davis.
Oh, the double knee blowout guy.
I'm gonna send my shout out. Gary Williams. Like Claudio said, hope there's hope. I saw the voice of Bears Barroom. My boy Lawrence Fleming. He does all the intros. He said it, and he's right. We gotta isolate. I hope there's hope, and put that on this show because that's gonna be
the voice of where?
The Tape Never Lies Network. Did I say the other network? Fuck, I did that before.
Yeah, I did it last year.
Yeah, I know.
I was just talking about them. That's why. Fuck.
Well, by saying their name on our show, they get more viewers, you know.
There you go. Yeah, listen, I don't have any. I have no grudges anymore. I'm happy with where I'm at.
That's right.
Dakota Harper, I'm gonna shout him out. Alyssa Bryan Chambers on Facebook. I want to shout out Chris, Heather, and Alex for their work, and Jamie, the swag lady, for their work. I want to shout out Steven Johnson for all his help with the show and the graphics and the backgrounds and everything he does from Shy City Sports.
Shy City Sports.
And I want to shout out Andrew Brown, obviously, Chuck and Lydia Goring, my boy Ivan Vargas, he's in the chat. He's getting a shout out right now. John McNabb, guy's dedicated. Shayne, he's making a Keepin It 100 jersey. And he sent me a picture. He said, I'm sending this to you. But they fucked up. And he was pissed. He's like, they didn't put Keepin with the apostrophe it 100. So he sent it back. That's how much he cared. Michael Imes.
That can be the traveling jersey. When
could be the traveling jersey. Emridge Jones, EJ Jones, Kevin Wood, George Shapiro, my buddy. He's not a Bears fan, but he came over here. My boiler was backing up, and he came over here and fixed it.
I got pictures.
Oh my God, what a nightmare that was. But this dude, as a friend, listen, surround yourself with good people. That was the greatest advice my father ever gave me. Still stands up today. Antoine Lee, I see you, bro. Rel Remy, he's followed us forever. I don't know what patron number he is. I know he's there. I don't give this guy enough love. He's always sending me voice messages during the game, during the presser, and it's always exactly on my head, the same kind of thinking. So I wanted to shout you out. I never do it enough. Tim Madison, you saw him coming on the show. You want to come on the show? Come on and let us know. Trey Pugsley down on the West Coast, smoking a blunt. Brennan McLarath, brand new on the patron. Brennan, loving it. Shondell Toms, Jay Bonds, guy can sing. You saw him in here earlier. I quoted Johnny Nicrone, William Tyrone Jackson II. He produced the music when I do my rant. I want to thank you for what you've done this year. Damian Hampshire, Eugene Cock. Maybe it's Coach. I don't know. Eugene Cock and Ball. James Jaramillo in the chat. Johnny Centino, you've been a standout tonight in the chat. Bear Truth 9. Cherie, Lady Bear, you've been amazing all season promoting us. Bullets, my boy Bullets. Mirza, Beige, always helping us out. You guys and Jeff Burton, even though you love cars more than me, I see you every week. Patron number 2. I don't see Big O. Where's patron number 1 tonight? I haven't seen Otis Nichols. That's
and your
all.
other fan cars, Edwin Lopez. He wasn't on
Evan, you and Evan have had a love-hate. Now he's back with you.
I think I lose that this week if the calendar holds. I can't remember if it was on last week, but we'll get it figured out.
Ron Lewandowski, you were phenomenal. I loved your messages, and my boy Cool Kennedy for doing all the producing of the music for X's with the O's. Obviously more the shout out song, and we're gonna have some more new original music. That's what this network's about. Claudio and his wife, not this Claudio. All the love. That's it. It was a great show tonight. Lots of truth, lots of keeping it 100. There's never a script. Chris Jackal, gotta shout you out, bro. The studio, I'm gonna rearrange the studio. That's next week's show. Anyway, bear down no matter what. We got some Ender here. Does anybody have to say anything else? Is there any business, Shane?
Good night.
That's it. Let me see. There you go.
This has been a Shy City Sports presentation and a Tape Never Lies Network production. Keeping it 100. Thanks for tuning in to The Tape Never